And to me, it's nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating because
multiple mental health clinicians said that Derek had limited intellectual ability and was not capable of consenting.
Congratulations.
Boom. Right? Change soccer in America forever.
Hella bugs out here. Dude, bro, I can't keep caressing my leg, boy. Trying to get freaky out here.
We are step siblings and also husband and wife.
I can't do any of that stuff.
That's right. Yeah, in fact, soccer can crawl up my asshole and die for all I care.
And that's what the kids do, but I'm a little older. I like that shirt tucked in.
Who the hell told you that would not be seen on television?
Anal sex is the process of inserting a penis into the anus of another partner.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Speaking of anal sex, today's and tonight's sponsor. What are you raising a glass for that? Tonight's sponsor is Dick's Mayo. Dick's Mayo. It's cream. What? Hold on.
Wasn't ready for it.
Well, I told you. We're obligated at this point.
All right. Dick's Mayo went up and cleaned itself up because it is off my tab list right now.
What?
Cleaning it up right now. There she is.
Our sponsor's going to hate this. Dick's Mayo. That's creamy, slightly salty, and perfect on anything. So, yeah. Everybody's favorite. Everybody's favorite mayo is Dick's Mayo. Go out and get it in. I guess you're going to have to buy it offline because it's not at your local supermarket yet. All right. Welcome to the show. We got so much in show. Honestly, we could be here all night. I hope we're not, but it could happen. Yeah.
Wizard Dragon says, Brett in the middle of World War Z. LOL. Yeah, this is actually a live footage of Hard Rock Stadium right now.
It's a still. Yeah, a still from last night. Yeah. And we'll get to that as well. Oh, we got so much to cover. This is crazy.
Oh, so much.
Did you see the report about the Dutch sperm donor who has fathered 550 kids?
Of course, I always have stuff that involves sperm automatically notify me of it. So,
of course, yeah. It's one of your alerts. Sperm, anything with sperm in it. A crazy thing about that, 550 kids, that totally ups the potential for incest. Like unknown incest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think we need to get those donees involved with that the gynecologist guy who fathered or sired like 89 kids here in Zionsville.
Yeah. Locally in Zionsville,
take over the world.
You probably somewhere in Zionsville soon, going down the pike, you will have a gal and a guy hook up, and they don't even know they're related. That's not healthy. And
there's gonna be like a Facebook group with all those kids on there, just so that when they're like, all right, let's see, is Janine on there?
Jeez. It's not good for the gene pool. Is all I'm saying. All right, we're just going to cover this to get this out. Cover this to get this out of the way for the most part. So a little serious.
Breaking.
Here. Yeah, we are pretty politically androgynous around here. That's a fancy word, meaning we're mostly anonymous. It's hard to figure out where we stand on anything. And that's fine because this is not a political show, but I do have to at least express the insanity of X over the last 2 days after the assassination attempt. You got wackos on the right and wackos on the left, and they both have these crazy ass theories when probably the basic answer is just incompetence. Honestly, it doesn't look good. There are things that totally don't make sense here. I get it, but we just don't simply have enough information. But I guess that's how people on X get hits, Brett. They just put out nonsense, and then they're like, hope it sticks. On the right, they're like, Mossad killed Trump. Mossad? The Israelis went out and hired this crooks kid? Come on, I don't think so. And then you got on the left saying, this was all staged. I watched it. It was not staged. And there is no way in this time and day where everyone has a camera on their phones, you could get away with staging something like that. It's just impossible. But it was horrible. And this, we don't need to be shooting presidential candidates. I think that's just the bottom line. And we can, I think, all agree on that. Shooting people. And that would have been traumatic because I wasn't watching it live, but I got a text. So I tuned in. Can you imagine seeing that live on TV? A guy's head blown off? Dude. That would have ruined my day.
I didn't believe it when I first read I don't even know what the fuck I read. It was like just popped up and like, no, what? No way. I'm seriously just scrolling through trying to find stuff about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, nah, come on. Really? Then I tuned in and yeah. Mm-hmm. I tuned in rather quickly and he was still on the ground and hadn't gotten back up yet. That's how quick I got a text, like as it happened. And they knew it. They knew it immediately. Those were shots fired. Yet I went I typed in it on the news to just get an update on my phone. And, I didn't know what article to click on, so I just clicked on a random one. I wasn't sure which one it was. Ended up being a CNN article. And the headline was, Trump falls on stage.
Escorted after falling during incident or something like that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you're like, dude, anybody that watched that live knew that was gunshots. So, I mean, I don't know. We live in a crazy, wacky world where even like the most basic, obvious shit either breeds like seriously weird conspiracy theories or, there were actually people out there cheering this. Like, oh, man, I'm sorry you missed. Well, frankly,
pissed off that he missed. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need that, guys. Nobody needs that. This will be settled in the election. We don't need blood and guts sprayed all over, and then, of course, the firefighter who died and the other person who was critically injured. Nobody wants to see that shit. I mean, I was around for the Reagan assassination attempt, and I despised Reagan at the time. I've read a lot more books about him since, and, a little more balanced thought process about Reagan now than I used to have when I was younger. But, I never wished him to die. Yeah. That's just not how things go or how they should be. And if you have that much hate in your heart, that's not good for you, man. You need to get that cleaned out. Just clean it out. All right.
Czar blames CONMEBOL. CONMEBOL's behind it. Chris Scary says CONMEBOL ran security.
Well, someone missed a very obvious, rooftop. Let's just put it that way. That was not covered. I mean, that was between 135 and 150 yards away. Like most people who have had basic training are going to hit that shot. But really, the way when you slow down, they showed the slowdown video. The reason Trump didn't get blasted in the skull is he turned his head just slightly at that, just like the last second. So otherwise, we would have seen brain matter splattered across our TVs. That would have been horrible. And that would have caused some serious turmoil. I mean, I can only imagine all the people that support Donald Trump would have lost their fucking shit. Absolutely lost their shit. I mean, it would have caused probably bad things is all I'm thinking. So the turn of the background says, welcome to the straight red card. Who will the U.S. men's national team replace Greg Berhalter with? Will Becky do his best? The group layout thing is in the way. I can't read the rest of that. That's me. That's not you. There we go. I accidentally clicked that somehow. Will my wife stop cheating on me with her stepbrother? Hey, man, it's legal. I mean, maybe not cheating on you. She's your wife. There's some laws, obviously, that allow you to divorce her for that.
Well, you don't need her to cheat on you to divorce a person.
Well, that's true. You can just have irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
So, $199, depending on what state you're in. By the way, you can't do that in every state. $199. My girlfriend has wet dreams every day. France. Couch. Cooch. Wet dreams every day. She has wet dreams every day. Huh. Well, that's great. I mean, that's so little effort to just have wet dreams. Johnny for $2. But by the way, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
Ban fake Americans like Derek and Maloney. All right, dude. Let's just be really clear. I was actually born on an army base in Fort Knox, Kentucky. And then we moved to Germany. So it's not my fault. My mom is half German, but I was born on American soil. All right. So, or my mom was at the time full German. She wasn't even an American citizen at the time. She is now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It happens.
It happens.
All right. That's all I got. Cause I'm sure you got, I saw your tabs
quick.
And I'm like, I got to get this over with quick. And we got to
10
get
minutes, Derek. It was way too long. We're going to be here till midnight, guaranteed.
I just had to get a few things off my chest, but I
go.
saw your tabs as we did pre-show, and I'm like, this show's going to last forever.
I closed down about half of them. I mean, they actually turned out to be mostly porn, so we're good. We're good right now.
All right. Yeah, you need to close out your porn before we do the show.
So, I mean, from, being a player to becoming a coach and stuff like that, he hasn't really had time to be himself, so he wants to enjoy his retirement. Early retirement, maybe just taking a break. Jurgen Klopp.
Oh yeah.
So he gets done. He enters his first summer off in decades. So he goes to he has a padlocked storage container. He goes and opens it up. He's got his motorcycle, of course. It's rocking there. It's probably an Indian, as one does. And he dusted off a box and opened up his what he used to wear back in the 80s and decided to rock it out. Look at him go with that.
That is pretty 80s. That's pretty 80s.
I mean, seriously. He's like, oh, man, it still fits. Great.
I think it still looks good, too.
Man, it's a callback. It's a callback for certain.
I don't have any of my clothes from the 80s.
But, he's a connoisseur. He knew. He's like going to give it a couple decades and guarantee you the Canadian tuxedo will come back. It's going to be a thing. Although it never left Canada, though.
I wouldn't fit into any of my clothes from the 80s because I was,
Why does Ed Sheeran look like a grandma?
He always does. Because I was like 155 pounds wet. So, there's no way I could fit into anything I owned in the 1980s. And now I'm 200 pounds. 205 probably.
Yeah, I grew up in the 90s, and that was always big and baggy. Though I could technically, if I lost some weight, fit back into stuff I wore in high school.
Huh, do you still have any?
I got some.
Really?
I mean, a lot of it's just T-shirts, so why not just hold on to it?
If they're cool T-shirts, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Johnny wants to know for $2, Derek's best rap song. Beastie Boys don't count.
I would probably go with a couple because I have a lot of favorites, but I'm gonna have to go for my original inspiration in 1986, 85, which was My Philosophy by Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One. I think that's a legit good answer because My Philosophy is a great song. And
go ahead. Sorry.
KRS-One's still out there kicking it, doing college presentations. He's a smart motherfucker. But yeah, that was kind of the beginning for me. That's what really triggered my love of hip hop, and I never stopped from there on out. I loved hip hop up until the early 2000s when, Wu-Tang stopped really kicking around. I bought some of the solo albums, but after that, I moved on. I just moved on from music in general. And because my band was over too, by the way, then, by like 2008, although we played New Year's every year, I just, my listening to music hurt me. It hurt me because I knew my time was over. And so when I listened to good music, it actually pained me. It doesn't anymore. So I can now go, I listen to music now again. But for a good few years, I just had to tap out. Mike B. Go ahead.
I was going to say Mike B said one of the first rap albums he ever bought.
Yeah, it's just By All Means Necessary, right? That's the name of the album. And it had KRS-One in a window with a gun.
Now Derek's purchasing singles on iTunes like Drops of Jupiter.
No, I'm not. And by the way, Drops of Jupiter was a ripoff song. They had to pay another band thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for that song.
How'd that song go again, Derek?
I'm not singing that song. It went even flow.
There you go.
There we go.
John says, "Give me my super chat back, please. It's a shitty answer."
To each their own, Johnny.
My second CD I ever purchased was Busta Rhymes' Dangerous. I also like Jurassic 5. Jurassic 5 is still one of my favorites, although it's not massively mainstream by any means.
Oh, there was such a great transition between all that with Tribe Called Quest and Brand Nubians and even De La Soul. There's just a lot of great Public Enemy. Of course, I'm not going to leave out the Beastie Boys. There are lots of great music coming out then in the hip hop arena.
Yeah.
Great shout out, Derek. My brother toured with KRS-One once. No shit. Was he in a group? Yeah, I mean, it's always been like a dream of mine to meet KRS, but I never have. Who sung Drops of Jupiter? Do we really have to talk about this anymore?
I forgot. Was it Choo Choo or was it The Color?
It was Train, wasn't it?
It was Train, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm spacing how the chorus even goes now.
And I know that they had to pay those hundreds of thousands of dollars, by the way, because I know the band and the band members, they had to pay all that money too for that song. Okay.
Oh, man. Hold on. I guess I'm scrolling down the rest of this. Where to go?
King Kalo for $4.99. I met my girlfriend is having wet dreams because her Renard is coming to the U.S. to coach our boys. This guy is going to cause a lot of divorces. I mean, I don't get
a lot of single soccer moms out there.
I guess
starting to go to U.S. men's national team games.
I'm
with their phone numbers on boards. Like, give me a call.
I'm not saying he's unattractive. It's just not the first thing I thought of when I looked at him. Was like, oh well, he's hot. It just didn't come to me. And but I got weird taste in women too. So there you go.
Thanks, Nye. I appreciate that.
Hey, Soul Sister is so fucking bad. Such a bad song. Hey, Soul Sister, something Mr. Is that Mr. on the radio? Radio. The lyrics are so fucking bad. It makes me want to jab an ice pick in my fucking ear.
Wait, so Stu Holden sings?
I don't know.
Another reason why you said that during your epic rant.
Oh, yeah. It's often something I say when something drives me absolutely crazy bonkers. Johnny for $2. I can't listen to pre-Nas rap. Sounds corny. Dude, that's on you. I'm older than you by God light year, all right? By miles. So for me, I understand that, for you, the stuff I listen to is ancient. But I was there from the beginning, or not even the beginning, really, because KRS-One, that's mid-'80s. That's not even the beginning. That's just when I got into hip-hop. Radio stereo, the way you move, it ain't fair, oh my God.
It's going to be stuck in his head now.
No, it won't. I will listen to whatever I got to listen to make sure. You know what's stuck in my head right now? Let's just get this out of the way. Cruel to Be Kind by Nick Love. You got to be cruel to be kind in the right measure. Cruel to be kind. It's the very something blah. Cruel to be kind means that I love you, baby. You gotta be cruel to be kind. Nick Lowe, great song. All right.
Derek, you ever break dance?
Huh? No, I never. I don't dance. Never danced. I did some hip hop. I did some rap.
You don't even do the hitch dance, just side to side, side to side.
I mean, if you put a gun to my head, I can do that.
No, take me out now. Minecraft me right now. Come on.
Oh, Jesus Christ! By the way, "Cruel to Be Kind," another co-love song by our good friend Alexi Wallace. Also loves that song. Lexi are sharing some music here and there. All right, so
Eric was an original member of the Sugar Hill. Hippity hop.
Hippity hop. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't around. That was before my time. When was that? 79, 78?
Yeah, in that range, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I couldn't break dance. I would have broke a bone. I just didn't dance. I knew I had a great friend who was a great break dancer. Her name Antonio Earthman. He was great. What a name, too. Antonio Earthman. What a name.
So he's earthen, right? Wind and fire? No. Jack Benitez says, you never dance at weddings, Dirk?
I did the slow dance with my wife, yeah.
Did you, did you dance at my wedding?
Hell no. Hell no. I did not. I did not dance at your wedding. I drank a lot, though.
Yeah, I didn't get to start drinking until 9 o'clock at night. Weddings suck when you're the actual group.
I have photos of Jennifer and I at your wedding.
Yeah.
I should bring those up at some point.
We always joke, Evie and I always joke around like, oh, we'd love to come back here for another wedding, just not our own. It was a nice venue.
It was a really nice venue. Yeah. I hung out with your brother for a while. Penny. Oh, I bet it did. Yeah. I bet it did.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
for the nearly 300 of you here, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma and your stepsister. Thank you for showing up. For a night that doesn't seem like there'd be a lot to cover, but there is.
Surprise.
Unbelievably.
Derek, jumping back to the cost of the venue for the wedding, I didn't have to worry about it so much because being a bottom or below the basement, journalist as I am.
Yes.
I make buku bucks off of hate clicks, So
yeah,
it pained me. It pained me to find out that a fellow hate clicker creator on YouTube doesn't actually go by the name of 11 Yanks. This is strange.
Gavin,
strange.
Here's the funny thing. You got to click on my response to Gavin. Gavin Eubank says, breaking, hiring bosses looking at best candidates for the job. Wow, earth-shattering stuff. Thank you, anonymous user 11 Yanks. Yeah, he's so anonymous. All you have to do is hover over 11 Yanks, and it'll tell you his name is Pete. He hosts a show on 11 Yanks called 11 Yanks on YouTube. I
forgot all about that. I forgot that his name's actually on his fucking bio.
Yeah. Now, does he use his real last name? No, Pete Dowd.
Allegedly.
No, he's okay with it. He does not use his real last name because he was doing acting and he didn't want, in case something happened to have his, his career, be in jeopardy in any way, in case something happened. I don't know what he was worried about at the time, hiding his anonymity, but he's been open on his own show about what his real name is, and everybody knows what his real name is now. And there are clips of him on IMDb you could go get from him playing cops and whatever. So, wait, your first name isn't 11? Did you see so you're so nice. Look at my response directly.
Well, this is to Pete. But Don Garbage goes, last name not Yanks? I go, apparently not. Who knew?
It's not a mystery.
Okay, so you're saying your response to Gavin?
Yeah, so you're the nice guy. And then
there you are. Please.
It would have taken you 5 seconds, you lazy cunt. I'm sorry. I mean, some of this shit is just so ridiculous. Like, if you're going to call... if you're going to call somebody like they're being anonymous on purpose, at least know that's true, okay? If you don't, then don't say it. I don't accuse anybody on X of being anonymous unless I can look. I go and I scan over and I'm like, oh, this is some anonymous bullshit. All right. King Kalo.
U.S. men's national team 2026 says he's very open on who he is. He goes, like I would care to know that much about this account.
Well,
shut the fuck up.
Then shut the fuck up and don't make accusations, dumbass.
Lord, dude. Come on.
Oh, my God. What a lazy cunt. All right. King Kalo for 199 says, my stepsister is not helping either by squirt his pick. Oh, God. Kalo, man.
And the cleanup alone, man. I mean, come on.
You've got all kinds of problems. You got your girlfriend, your stepsister, all hovering above pictures of her Renard. That's crazy. Yeah, and we'll get to all the coaches. We're going to go down a list of them, and we're going to grade them as in either A, B, C, D, F, or absolutely impossible, unlikely. Those will be the categories.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I mean, we are 25 minutes into the show, and then we're done with all the fluff, guys. I know we have a long show ahead of us. You guys
We
see
do.
The tabs there are plenty.
Let's do it.
But knowing that we still have plenty of time for this.
Transfer news, transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Transfer news. Everyone loves that transfer news but me. Whatever.
You know, if we're hard pressed for time, maybe I should do the short version next time.
Could be, yeah. I think Jack Black is one of the guys who said that he wished the gunner hadn't missed. Don't miss next time, he said. Yeah.
Why do we care about Hollywood?
We don't. I just noticed he was in that clip, and I thought, oh man.
Derek, how much Hollywood are you consuming these days?
Not much. Almost none.
I am almost 100% on YouTube at this point.
Yeah. I
don't fucking care about these rich celebs who want to spout out their reasonings.
Oh, I'm totally with Ricky. I'm totally with Ricky Gervais on
100% with Ricky. Yeah, Ricky. Yeah.
Okay. So Mark McKenzie has been a part of Genk's squad over the last 4 seasons, but Turkish side Trabzonspor are reportedly targeting him for a summer move. That is a lateral move. It's a lateral move.
Well, Genk's the top squad. Why leave at that point? Why not? I mean, didn't we report rumors of him garnering interest in like championship and shit like that?
That would be a good move.
Yeah.
Championship, that's a step up from Genk. No. Trabzonspor, I don't care whatever you want to say about how much better the Turkish league has gotten, but it's not really. It's just a lateral move, and I think championship would be a much better move for him. And why do you want to go to Turkey? I mean, that's a whole different, culture. It's a whole different way of living. It's a language you're not going to understand as you walk through the city.
Better taxes? I don't know.
I don't know how much I even believe this, but
I mean, Ives is posting it, so he must have heard some rumblings.
Yeah,
it's not just random Joe Blow on the interwebs, like us or Pete,
But then, who's more believable than Stephen Goff? Then we're going to get into that later. And Stephen Goff posted the breaking news about De La Fuente, Luis De La Fuente.
Okay, we're on the same page. I was like, what did you break? I don't think I have that pulled up.
Right.
Given the number of tabs I have, it's surprising that I may not have something pulled up. I think I have the entire Twitter pulled up.
I even wrote Stephen and said, this seems so crazy. Don't you think that he's just using the United States as leverage so we can get a better contract? To me, it just makes no sense.
I've got an actual tweet, and I don't know. I didn't bother to look it up because it was like right before we got on here to verify. But I've got what he's making with Spain and what Spain's offering him compared to what we offered somebody like Greg. So
okay, so we're going to cover that later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack Pineda goes, "Oh my gosh, look at all those tabs."
It's Nutso City.
Like I said, really man, we're gonna be here for a minute, guys. Sit down, grab a bev,
grab several bevs.
You're gonna need one, man.
Yeah. So this move would be lateral. And even if it's slightly better, it's not much better. If it is better at all, go challenge yourself somewhere like the championship. Surely someone in the championship is interested in Mark McKenzie.
100%. 100%. Now, whether or not they'll offer as much money, I don't know.
Right. Okay. Inter Milan are planning to finalize the Tanner Tessmann deal this week, sign him for Venezia, and send him on loan there for one more season. I feel like we've been reading this same post for fucking 4 weeks. Among many clubs that are showing interest in a potential loan for Tessmann are Ipswich Town and Feyenoord. Well, Feyenoord, that'd be a great move. But they don't have the money, Feyenoord, and nor does Ipswich Town, to even compete with the Inter Milan. If Inter Milan, 100%. If Inter Milan are serious, he's going there and he'll be loaned back to Venezia for the season.
But here's the question, and this is the tough question, I guess. If Feyenoord's interested and they make a bid or whatever, you as a player, would you prefer to continue playing even for Venezia and Serie A for at least one more year? or would you want to go to the Dutch league at that point?
I don't think he really cares. I think in the end, he's going to be saying, all of these things are probably decent for my career. And if you really believe in yourself as a player, you're thinking, okay, I'm taking the Inter Milan deal and I'll go back and play a year at Venezia, because playing at Inter Milan in a club of that size, that big, is a dream. It's a dream, right? So you don't kill the dream if you're the player. If you're the agent, you're going to take the money. So when dreams of the player aligns with the money of the agent, they're on board. He's going to Inter Milan. Now, will he ever play for Inter Milan? That's a whole nother story.
Well, we're going to get into that in just a second. I got a nice post by Brian here. This is we had this interaction back in June, actually. So Brian says, my humble suggestion, see if Weston will go to the Olympics, et cetera, et cetera. The point here is the club moves for Aidan Morris and likely Tanner Tessmann to create a center mid for the Olympic squad. So the only reason why I bring this up is because I wanted to talk to Brian on his thoughts of the rumors of Tessmann off to Inter. This is back in June. We have covered this for many a week. So I said, I go, though the rumor for Tessmann to Inter would likely result in him back with Venezia on loan.
Yes.
And he goes, I don't see him back in Venezia in any scenario.
Well, that's his opinion. And we love us some Brian Schroeder.
So I did continue this. I said, well, that was part of the Inter rumor. If Inter is the hypothetical location, assuming that rumors are accurate, are you saying that the immediate loan isn't likely or just not to Venezia? He says not Venezia. So he's not discrediting the Inter rumor. He's just saying he doesn't see Inter loaning him out to Venezia.
Maybe that loan is to Feyenoord.
Anything's possible.
I don't know. It's hard this early in the window, pre-window, to start drawing lines. I mean, it's just too early. It's a crapshoot. And maybe they do sign him and they don't loan him to Venezia, even though Venezia needs as much help as they can to stay up next season. Maybe the loan's to Feyenoord. It's impossible to say.
Chambers is saying, the report is Feyenoord or Ipswich as a loan.
Ipswich is a really weird one. That's like out of left field to me. But okay.
I mean, if they're really interested in getting him, whether permanent or on loan, I mean, that would be a great move because then you'd be sending a player off to EPL to get some real good experience for when he returns to you.
Woo! Good luck to him. That's going to be crazy town if he goes to Ipswich, because that's going to be a season-long.
But he'd be in the position though to see a lot of action.
Or not. Or not.
They'd be playing defense 90% of the time.
I get it, but coaches that are trying to stay up in the Premier League don't play young people.
I imagine that'd be an argument between him them and Inter Milan. Inter might just say, "Hey, bitch, if you're going to get him, you got to play him."
Man, I'm picking Feyenoord 10 days out of the week.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's fair. I understand where you're coming with that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's going to be a rough season at Ipswich next year. They could possibly finish with the worst total number of points in a Premier League season ever.
Yeah.
It's very possible. They're going to get crushed every game. I mean, if you want to go through that heartbreak as a loanee, go for it. But with Feyenoord, you'll be competing for, a trophy. A league trophy. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. We're literally just talking about one of our topics. It's all right.
Harsh comment, but the U.S. youth ecosystem has a disproportionate influence from Scottish and English coaches. If we were to choose the best football, the best model, the greatest success in the game, would we honestly start in Scotland? I mean, Scotland had a decent generation for a while, but they'd be really, really old by now. So if they're still coaching.
But the thing is it's not like the U.S. youth ecosystem sat there and like, who do I want to emulate? Who do I want to duplicate their system and how they play? Scotland. No, what it is, you had a bunch of expats from Scotland and England come to the United States for obvious reasons. Look at history.
And they had English and Scottish accents, and they were hired.
Yeah.
And that's an inferiority complex on our own. Whereas there were lots of Germans here too at one point, but a lot of them were told to leave and did leave. Thomas Dooley being a great example.
Yeah.
He had an academy here. And there's just not enough German voices, in my opinion. Maybe that's because I'm German, half German, but I think there would have been helpful if we had more Germans here in the United States teaching us soccer. The English are fine, but Scottish, the last great Scottish generation was back when Stevie Nicholls played, and they're all very old right now. And I'm sure most of them aren't coaching anymore.
I mean, aside from just the population itself, is there really a massive difference between, and this isn't looking at the current English squad by any means, but is there a massive difference between the style of play from England and Scotland of past?
Not in the past, there wasn't a big difference.
That's why our ecosystem is built on that, because you had people of said history being influential in our development as a whole. So using Scottish and English as the influence here is kind of redundant, in my opinion.
I don't know how true this still is compared to as bad as it was 15 years ago. I'm sure it's changed. There are a lot more Latino and Hispanic coaches now. There are a lot more coaches from all kinds of different backgrounds now. So I think it's gotten better, is all I would say. Yeah. But yes, there was once a time when if you had anything that sounded remotely like a British accent from any of the British Isles or mainland, you were immediately hired as a coach of academy. I think that's changed. So Scotland had Robert the Bruce coaching. Yes,
freedom. This one's directed to you, Derek, because Jake's not on Twitter, so I have no contact with him.
No, I texted him. Even before it all got bad, and said, what's going on? Come on the show or whatever. And then no reply. And then when we finally said what we said and we did what we did, I just said, hey, man, you did this to yourself, and good luck to you. And I hope,
bridge well burnt.
I hope your life is great. And that's it.
That's all.
I think that he's made his choice to call us.
And I'll flat out say this. If you were to say, come back. If you were to come to us and say, hey, I'm sorry how that came off. I really don't think you guys are this, and this. I'd be like, whatever. We're good. I have no problem forgiving at this point. I'm just like, at this point, though, the last thing that was said, and he doubled down on it, was that we had no credibility when it comes to breaking any news.
But he
hitting that rage clicks, Derek. So,
but he didn't do any research, Brett. He did no research on us. He did no research on our past. He doesn't know anything about us, apparently. So that's fine. And you can throw out all these accusations, like that one guy saying Pete was anonymous. He basically was saying we're anonymous, Jake. Like metaphorically, it's the same thing. It's like, do your work, boy. Do your homework. Do your homework before you start calling people out. We've been around this business for a long time, and we know a lot of people. So no, you can bite me. That's basically what I would say. All right.
Yeah, we have decades of contacts. Mainly your contacts, because you've been around longer, of course. You've been around since the Magna Carta was written up. So
yes, right. And I still have all my journo contacts too, the ones that don't suck.
Exactly. All right.
Pete's photos are all over the internet. Yes, they are. so are mine. Just go type in Derek Ritchie. Yes. And, you can put in the band Brando next to it. They're all
Considering
over.
you guys are recording this from below the basement, the audio is pretty good.
That's true. We are below the basement. We don't. When we meet somebody, we immediately drop to our knees and start sucking cock. That's how below the basement we are. All right.
We actually got to climb up a little bit to do that.
For the nearly 400 of you in here right now, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share it with your grandmother. Hey, call your stepsister, have her come over and watch the show with you. What? Googling Derek Ritchie nudes. Nah, there are none of those. And if there are, they're not me. Because there are other guys named Derek Ritchie in the United States. I think there are 4 of them total.
Oh, his wife sent that.
My wife sent that.
She got his phone.
Men in Blazer says, warning, you are down to your last 15 minutes of summer of soccer. Brace yourself. Lawless will not be on your television tomorrow. Don't cry because it happened. Smile because it's over. Oh my God, Roger.
Where did this feels kind of like it came out of left field, man.
It does, because Lawless has never said a bad word about Men in Blazers ever.
I don't know if I've ever heard. I don't think I've heard Raj mention anything really bad about Lawless. Maybe I don't know if I can't recall anything at least.
Right. I mean, listen, we've had plenty of our own arguments with Alexi Lawless over time. And, we had him on the show anyhow. He was fairly honest with us, I think, and fairly frank.
I enjoyed the back and forth.
I think it was because he's like, well, only like 5,000 people are going to see the show, so I can say whatever I want.
The internet's forever. That's the problem, right?
But now that our shows are getting like 8,000, maybe he might have to rethink that, 8 to 10. So, listen, holding people this sounds personal to me, honestly. That's what this sounds like. There's something going on, and I think it's probably Alexi's politics, which we've talked about here before. If I'm going to hold people totally accountable and hate them for their politics, I'm going to have to hate half my family. Okay? Why would I do that? I'm not going to do that. They got their opinions. I got mine. We share some opinions. Sometimes we agree on a lot of things too. But I'm not hating anybody for the fact that I might disagree with them on an issue or on whatever, who they're going to vote for. I could give 2 fucks. That's their personal decision. To me, that's like your religion. That's you. That's your personal thing. It ain't for me to get up in your grill and, condemn you because you're a Catholic or condemn you because you're, a Hare Krishna or whatever. I could care less. You do you, man. We got a short time here on earth, a very short time. Everybody's got to do themselves. And as long as being themselves means you don't hurt people and kill people or, do horrible things, then you do what you got to do. That's what I'm saying.
So I'm not saying that Raj doesn't necessarily appreciate Lawless's, YouTube candor, not YouTube, sorry, Twitter candor, and his Fox, analysis by any means. But I'm saying it's most likely a comment like that after such a long and extensive Euro and Copa that I'm thinking it's more likely that this is done for the views, the clicks, if you will.
Well, my cuz Carly Lloyd came out and said, this is getting a little ridiculous at this point. You guys attacking Lawless. So, hey, if you're going to attack.
That's what Kevin's saying. Kevin says Carly's right in my eyes.
I mean, listen, is Alexi Lawless my favorite announcer? Obviously not. I made a fucking rant about it. He drives me crazy sometimes. Absolutely, to the point of me screaming and then getting 1 million views without my knowledge immediately.
Or without our credit by any means. I mean, he credited us, yes. But
yeah,
we saw some growth because of, man, it would be nice to have those 1 million views for us.
I know. So listen, we've chewed him out. I've chewed him out. I don't know what else he just forgave me. He's like, man, I've heard worse than that.
I was gonna say there's no level of actually this. So I had this problem. Forgot the guy's comment on our last show, and he's a long-term listener, and I don't mean to berate him by any means, but he's just like, hey, just want just so you know, most likely what it is some of these people might have hard feelings directed towards you because you call them idiots and morons. I'm like, well, they were idiots and they were morons.
Right. Oh, by the way,
it's not personal by any means, but that was a stupid take, man. Not that guy. That what we call when we say, oh, that was an idiot, or that was what a moron, you know.
I get it.
Those are dumb takes.
But then somebody else was saying on X like that we're constantly calling like mainstream journalists and other people morons. No, we haven't.
That was on YouTube, and you asked them, like, we actually don't say that often. I think it's kind of taking the time we do, like, we haven't really done the official or dumbass post of the week or anything like that. But we do pull up posts. We do say, oh, what a fucking idiotic take. Or guys.
No, but he was specifically saying, we said it about people in the biz. He was specifically saying we were calling people, journalists and people in the biz, idiots and morons.
What about our favorite sports lawyer? Do you call him a moron?
We have never done that on any consistent basis. It might have happened, I mean, a year and a half ago, but it's not something we do on the regular. We just call people out. Like I called Doug McIntyre out today on X. I just called him out and said, hey, dude, if you're going to come out when you get interviewed on Fox and you're going to say things like, yeah, I really think Steve Cherundolo is the best candidate. And most of us are going to assume because of your connections with U.S. Soccer that you have inside information. Then you should, if that's not the case and it's just your opinion, you need to say, well, listen, this is just my opinion. I want to be clear before you say it. Because most of us have gotten used to breaking news from U.S. Soccer coming out through you, Doug. Okay? Through you. So you need to be really clear whether you're doing a report or you're editorializing. And he wasn't clear on that interview. And so he never said, well, my opinion is, am I supposed to assume when people are asking you about inside information about U.S. Soccer that this is just your opinion all of a sudden, when usually you are breaking inside stories that are always right from U.S. Soccer because you have direct contact with them and you're a feeder. They feed through you. So no, I mean, yeah, you got to hold people accountable for that, but I never called them a moron. I never called them any name, nothing. Yeah. When I confronted Stephen Goff about the whole, Luis De La Fuente thing, I didn't call him any names. I've known Stephen Goff for not personally. He's not a big friend of mine or anything, but I've had contact with him through social. He's been on our show. I'm not going to call him a name. Why would I do that? So no, we do not on this show generally come out and call people names that work in the biz. We just disagree with them, and we hold them accountable. And if they don't like us after that, some of them don't, by the way, that's completely fine.
Well, and as I responded, I'm like, terms like idiot and moron are terms of endearment from us. I mean, it's just like, it's no different. I mean, actually, this may have been something I responded, but then erased and then responded multiple times. But us saying, oh, what an idiot. This was a dumb take. I say worse things to my friends when they have a dumb take or something that we disagree with. I brought this up before. Me and one of my good friends. He's been on the chat, super chatted a number of
times. Don't retell that whole story again.
about fucking trains, which way the train's going. Yeah. And we got so probably more than that. We got so fucking verbal with each other that people in the car were like, dude, why are you guys arguing? We're just having a disagreement, guys. I'm sorry we grew up at a time where I mean, I hate to use the generation names, but Gen Z or Gen X really you went out of their way to offend people, but it wasn't to offend people. It's just that's how we talk. That's how we talk. Unfortunately,
it's playful mostly.
Yeah.
So all right.
Go ahead and do this one. I'm gonna pull up one from Colin here because I did find it funny that he left, but
yeah. Winkley says,
not Colin, but what is this? Go ahead. Sorry.
Winkley says, hey guys, how's it going? I just got here. How ironic that Tak's worst enemy from Fox Soccer took his viral video about Colombian fans entering at the vents and placed it on their Fox Soccer shorts. It's not that surprising. ESPN did it too.
Everybody did it.
And
I mean,
yeah.
Little subtext underneath the video says, Tak's command. Just do that.
I love the tax, like right after he sees the people getting in the vents and crawling, and he's like, okay, that's it. We're out of here. He's like, we're gone.
I like it like the day after. People are like, did those people get out of the vents? Or are they still in there?
Yeah, I don't know. And they had the Bruce Willis thing. All right. You guys scared Michelle Giannoni off Twitter too? Michelle
Yeah, man. There are a number of people that are like, there's a reason why I don't go on Twitter often anymore, blah, blah. I'm just like, guys, it's just a way to get your takes and your input out. Don't even read the comments. You don't have to interact if you don't want to.
Who's Michelle Giannone?
He does stuff with MLS, and he does stuff with we pull him up a number of times.
We scared him off?
No, we didn't really scare. I think you guys indicate our community as a whole.
Oh, okay. I didn't think
not necessarily you, me, Derek, because he's never responded to me once.
Yeah, I don't even know who he is.
I promise you, I'll show it to you, and you'll know.
Okay. I enjoy and respect the Men in Blazers' unique wit, humor, and perspective. I'm sorry you don't care for me, but I still raise and toast a salute to you at Roger Bennett and wish you well going forward. Yeah, I'm surprised to see if Raj actually replies to that.
This is lawless on Twitter down to a T, right? He gets insulted, and he's like, "Hey, man, I wish nothing but the best for you."
Yes, that's true.
That's gonna piss some people off. And then some people are like, hey, man, you know, it's just banter back and forth, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera.
I think this one hurt a little deeper.
It could have been.
Yes. Yeah. I think this one hurt a little more. Honestly, Men in Blazers are coming after you. That's a little less than me sending you an nasty Twitter. Like he didn't even remember who we were. We met him in Indianapolis until 2012.
That's fair. I mean, one random meeting. I mean, I'm sure he has thousands of those a day.
But, anyhow, but I did have to have a call with him where I told him what we said about him. He's like, no way, no worries. Let's do the show. So, all right. So, because we're not Men in Blazers, obviously. We don't have a TV show. We don't have all their money and all their sponsors and all that. That's got
Raj doesn't have Dick's Mayo, man. Come on.
He does.
A little credit here. Give us a little credit.
But Dick's Mayo, really, in comparison, is just a small jizz worth amount of money. Let's be real honest.
Well played.
All right, the 400 of you in here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandmother. Call your stepsister over. Watch it to the show together. All right, here we go.
Well, let's start tackling some of the topics. 90% of the tabs I have up happen to be about Copa America.
So okay, let's get into it.
Let's start off on a light note, just a happy note.
What did I tell you about this topic when we were talking about how we're going to cover it today? I said,
first off, wait a second, let me pull this off. So first off, I had created this nice thumbnail, which you guys see half of the thumbnail now was the whole thumbnail. And it was like, disaster at Copa America or whatever it was, Colombian fans were like, we're not missing this,
Right.
And Derek's like, see if you can throw in like a picture of De La Fuente and maybe we'll talk about this topic. I'm like, dude, I think we're missing out on a massive topic. I mean, this is expanding past our niche audience.
I mean, I just don't understand why this is such a big deal. I understand that it sucked, and I understand people were crawling through vents like they were, I don't know, Bruce Willis, but I mean, in the end, it's a massive mistake.
You spoiled it. You already know about that meme. God.
It's a massive, massive failure. It's not the first failure that's ever happened during a game. This happened at the Euros, too, once upon a time.
They got called out, too, yeah. Chris Gary and a number of people were calling out. Every time a Euro would be like, oh, the U.S. should host World Cup at 2026. And Chris and a number of people were like, bitch, this happened to you literally a couple of years ago.
Yep, exactly. So
even Twoman talks about it. We'll pull that up here in a bit too.
So this part might go by faster than you think. Let's see. Let's see.
Starting off on a light note, I said Fox has allegedly informed the public that the issues broadcasting their stream is in fact twofold. The venue clearly didn't have enough access points within their stadium to handle that many mobile devices and broadcast. The fans who army crawled through the HVAC to get in apparently unplugged the widgets and dingle hoppers. Those are technical terms responsible for broadcasting. Long story short, clearly not Fox's fault, right?
The fault really in the end is on the venue, CONMEBOL, CONCACAF at some small level, and the fans. The fans were idiots. I mean, I'm not singling any type of fan out or anything, but they were idiots. You watch all those videos and you're thinking,
well, I mean, yeah, you
what
can
the
look at
hell's going on?
For dominance of one fandom per se, but
yes,
here nor or there,
they seem to be more numerous. That is for sure. And I didn't see a whole lot of Argentinian fans acting like wackos, but I don't know. I mean, it's crazy that all these fans without tickets showed up. Maybe somebody should have known that was going to happen. Maybe somebody should have.
Derek, you're not allowed to blame the fans. You're tightrope walking a very sensitive subjct there.
But the fans play a part in the lunacy. Let's be very frank. So I am putting a good chunk of the blame on the fans, but I'm also putting it on the venue. But now we'll get into the details of this, but I'm also putting on CONMEBOL, who apparently, according to some, decided, we're not going to use the money for extra security.
I must line my pocket thicker and thicker, Derek. What can I pay these security folks with?
We're just going to keep that money. That's what Twellman said, which we'll get to. America's not ready to host the World Cup, not even close. This has nothing to do with America.
Well, I want reasons, Neil. Give me reasons.
What is she, Australian? She's Australian?
He is that Australian? Or is that New?
It's way too small for me to see. It looks either like New Zealand, Australia, or Australia.
But he tweets mostly about Spanish football.
Well, what a weirdo. To say this means you know nothing about the United States.
No, we're not even close. And we're going to get into some crazier ones here in a second.
We could totally pull this off, dude. In fact, the last Copa was fine.
Dude, last Copa was fine because we ran it.
Yes.
USSF and CONCACAF ran it. You know, that's the big talking point right now. And whether it's, I forgot if it was Twellman or if it was somebody else. No, it may have been, I can't think of the guy's name that was on Call What You Want. But they talk about how CONMEBOL looked at the 2016 Copa in the United States and said, man, there was a lot of money wasted and a lot of money left on the table that we could capitalize on. And they did. They capitalized on it. And this is what you kind of get.
Yes, less security.
Why are you paying that much for field maintenance? Nah, we'll just do this.
Right, so the field sucked too. You can go down a long fucking list of what was wrong with this tournament. And you can't blame it on U.S. Soccer this time, guys. I mean, they got like a minuscule percentage of the blame.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you can blame it on the people that run the stadium because
CONMEBOL trying. They're trying.
They have held many big games at that stadium, and none of this has happened before.
6 Super Bowls apparently, and I didn't pull that tweet up either, but yeah.
Right. And maybe they just didn't know it was going to happen, but CONMEBOL knew what was going to happen. So, and then CONMEBOL eventually today they put out their statement and they blamed the stadium. So,
rightfully so.
I don't know how you can do that, but they were responsible for hiring security. CONMEBOL, not the stadium. CONMEBOL was responsible for hiring extra security. They didn't do it, apparently. Now, listen, I don't even know who to believe in this anymore because you got Taylor saying one thing, you got Hercules saying another thing. But I do know one thing, at least for this particular event, you can't blame U.S. Soccer because Most of their hands were out of the pot.
Dude, Twitbots out there got me defending U.S. soccer and CONCACAF.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Let me defending them.
I don't want to defend them, but I'm not going to let some Australian nitwit come out and say that America's not prepared to host the World Cup. I guarantee you, the World Cup is going to be spotless as shit. It's going to be spotless.
Well, I mean, yeah, FIFA will have that shit on lockdown, man.
FIFA, U.S. soccer,
yeah.
Canada, Mexico. I don't know. I mean, maybe some crazy shit happens in Mexico, but I seriously doubt it.
Fireworks, whatever, you know.
It's just people make sweeping assumptions about things they know nothing about. Hey, dude from Australia, maybe you might want to go and do some research before opening your big fucking yap.
Boomai says, blame Cannonball.
Cannonball. All right, what are we doing here? There are dangers we don't hear. The American country is a violent place. Compared to what?
Nope.
We can't play football in a nation where anyone can carry a gun around anytime.
Indeed.
What the fuck?
Indeed.
If a fight happens at a stadium, an American might well pull a gun. Okay, dude.
We shoot from the hip, man. Shoot from the hip.
This is something that was the same in 94. In fact, the rules are stricter now than they were in 1994 on gun ownership and background checks.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what we're talking about here. So this guy's just a paranoid motherfucker. Did we just have an assassination attempt on an ex-president? Yes, but I don't think that reflects how we're going to operate for soccer games.
FIFA's going to have the surrounding buildings on lockdown, guaranteed.
Yes, we'll be fine.
I go, are you serious? This particular boogeyman is Euro's biggest when discussing anything American. I'm fully certain this is a danger you've heard of or you hear of.
No, it's something he's been brainwashed to believe.
Every American's got a gun stashed in their pocket and at their ankles, man. They shoot up everybody.
It's like fucking the Wild West out here. People are just shooting motherfuckers left and right. Well, okay. There are places in America where that happens.
Sure.
On a daily basis. And that's let me finish. And that is fucking sad. Okay. That's fucking sad, but it's not an across the board thing. It's not happening everywhere. I mean, to say that is just in fact, I think you could actually say violent crime in the United States over the last, 2 or 3 years has not dropped, but it's not increased, you know? So anyhow, it's whatever.
I know you want me to let you finish and all, but you did kind of ruin the joke of saying, well, Jarek, we're not going to be in Chicago, so don't worry about it. Now I can't say it afterwards because that kind of loses its punchline.
Even in Chicago, it depends where you are in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Not every neighborhood in Chicago are having blood wars.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
And that's, by the way, I want to make it very clear. That's not acceptable. That should not be happening in those communities. That should be, something should change there. We need to do something to change that somehow. I don't know what the answer is. Mm-hmm. It's very sad. But anyhow, I'm not getting into politics. Fuck that. Let's move on.
Well, Joseph says that American ticket prices are absurd, and that's an unmentioned part of the story. Derek, do we not talk about ticket prices?
Yeah, we do.
It's a very vocal issue. For years, we've talked about ticket prices.
Yep.
And, you know, this is one of the things that I'm going to get into in a little bit, where I talk about how what CONCACAF has done wrong in this Copa. Mm-hmm. And that's incorporating some.
Yeah.
They bring some as the marketing arm. I guarantee you they went over to CONMEBOL and said, hey, you know, we charge for our ticket events, we charge like $2,000 for, you know, the first 45 rows. So you should probably charge that too.
Right.
Oh, okay, sure. People will pay that. Well, why not?
Yep.
100%.
Yep. As somebody said, felt safe walking through Chicago. It went away. Yeah, I mean, I've been to Chicago numerous times, and I've never really.
This one? I
was solo in Chicago, and a couple guys came up to me and said it was Margaret Country. Oh, no, that's not the one I was talking about. It's not somebody walking through Chicago and not really having, like, noticing. Yes,
there goes Alex. It's Alex.
Felt safe walking around Chicago alone at night.
I'm a Chicago Fire fan. I have no problem with Chicago.
I have two. So even in the recent past, I have. So like it's just a very specific, thing going on there. So, all right, where are we at? Some CONCACAF.
This is what this is the issue I think CONCACAF had this Copa. I said some, which is CONCACAF's marketing arm, handled the marketing aspect, likely the ticket prices too. CONCACAF probably worked with third parties like security companies and to uphold what CONMEBOL requested. And then I also said, I'm sure there are other aspects of this journey that CONCACAF were responsible for, but most of the complaints that people had fell on CONMEBOL.
Well, we should go to.
I couldn't think of any more than that.
Yeah, so maybe you should start playing some of the sources here because, you want to play Jesse Marsch? That's weird.
It's the start of all the stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he rips him a new butthole. Yep, he does.
Oh, let's start at the beginning. How about that?
Which sideline will you be on? Come on, man. I'm not leaving this job. I have no interest in the U.S. job.
Wait, is this the right one?
And to be fair, unless there's a big...
Nope, this is all about U.S. soccer. So this is not the one I thought it was.
Yeah, no, that's Jesse.
There was
one. Jesse's saying U.S. soccer, unless some motherfuckers leave, I will never have any interest in coaching for U.S. soccer again.
Yeah.
So, and that's makes sense for him.
There is a video out there with him and Bielsa talking about basically how crap this entire tournament's been, whether it comes down to field conditions, officiating, X, Y, and Z security. Jesse talks about how basically if half the stuff that happened to them was committed by Canada, there would have been sanctions involved, all sorts of stuff. So I don't have that video pulled up. So
no, that's fine. This whole idea that if you fly to America for a game in Chicago or whatever major city you go to, that you're going to get shot dead in the streets is just so ridiculous.
It's so stupid.
It's just not true.
In my 40 years of existence, the only people I've ever witnessed to have guns are responsible gun owners at their houses. I've never seen a gun out in the wild. I know there are people out there obviously shooting up places, but it's not as prevalent as people make it out to be.
I mean, it's ironic we're saying this now after what just happened, but yes, are there wackos in our country? Yeah. Yes. Are there beefs on the streets? That's been the same. It was happening in the 80s, okay? Beefs on the streets. That's been going on forever. Is it good? No. Did I wish it stopped? Yes. But I think these people I think they're mostly people that don't live here, think that just if you go fly and visit America, you're likely to die from some person shooting you. I just don't think that's true. And I think somebody said, I think it was Fumar, that, crime has been relatively down lately. So, I mean, again, ironic after what just happened this weekend. But
the funny thing is, you get some of those YouTube channels that are out there, like the insert random citizen of another country that's moved to the United States and documenting, certain aspects of like the cultural differences and stuff like that. But every single one of them, there's a guy from the UK that he moved to actually Anderson, Indiana, of all places in the world to move. He moved there. And he's talking about certain things and certain concepts that like the people from the UK have about Americans, to what's realistic about living in America. And like the funny thing is, he talks about the obvious ones like air conditioning. Like
sure,
he's just in there like I would happily pay you money to come out here and live in an apartment in rural Indiana with no AC in the middle of summer.
You're not going to live through it.
Love to see it, man.
You will burn alive. You will die. Yes.
But yeah. So it's what the news provides. It's what they see on Twitter. It's what they see on social media. It's just a ridiculous thought process.
Yeah, you'd think we were having a bloody civil war over here, but it's not. As many as people harp on that, say it, talk about it on Twitter, talk about it on YouTube. No, dude, it's going to be completely fine. The next World Cup will be totally fine. You are welcome to come here. You'll be welcomed, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay, so what do you got here? We got Herc.
Well, not really Herc. This is an ESPN article that happens to have a video of Herc on here, talking about the poor conditions of the fields and who's to blame for that one.
Okay.
So, obviously, I do what I normally do. I go through and I find some snippets of the article.
Yep.
So obviously, people are looking at it going like, "Well, geez, the poor field conditions." And I was like this way until I read this article. Poor field conditions. That's definitely on the venues. That's definitely on CONCACAF. They fucked this up. Maybe not.
Nope.
Maybe not.
To achieve uniformity and fairness, CONMEBOL adopted to standardize field conditions by ruling each stadium required adjustments to be made in order to comply with the need for a 100 meter by 64 meter pitch. A traditional field measures 105 by 68 and grass field with 25 millimeter density. Copa America participants were informed of the dimension change 8 months prior to the tournament, once again raising concerns. So CONMEBOL's just fucking this thing up left and right. Now, is that true? I mean, this is their tournament. Are they going to let everybody else tell them what to do? I seriously doubt it.
Not when they want to make the money, Derek. Not when they want to make the money.
So they're the ones that decided to not buy as much turf and make the field smaller. And they did it 8 months before. They're just trying to reap in as much of the cash dollars as they possibly can. Because some of these fields,
stadiums, yeah, some of these stadiums aren't necessarily built for standard field sizes,
but some of them are, and they still use the smaller size.
Yep.
So that's on CONMEBOL. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, CONCACAF. Mikhail Das says CONCACAF is making money too. Don't get it twisted. I totally agree with you, but they had less responsibility than did CONMEBOL for this tournament.
Yeah, CONMEBOL's making the bulk of it.
Yep.
CONCACAF's going to make some, obviously, 100%. It'd be stupid to have given this away, given their markets away without making some money.
And the final decision in most cases was made by CONMEBOL officials, not CONCACAF officials. They were like 1/4 of the decision-making process, and U.S. Soccer really had almost nothing to do with it. And I'm not trying to give U.S. Soccer a reach around. We got problems with them in other categories, but at this point, you can't point at them, and you can't really point at the venues either. Like, they're used to holding big events. This is not a big deal for them, but you need extra security when you need extra security, and you need the hosting federation to spend the money for that extra security.
Yep.
All right. And, this is just based on what I'm reading. Could all that I'm reading be total horseshit? I doubt it, because there's just too much of it adding up at this point, piling up.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think a lot of the people reporting it have a dog in the fight. They really don't. Reports were generated with recommendations of everything that had to be done. We had meetings with the agronomists and programming with a special technology. We had all the grass plantations defined. Okay.
This was all back in November. So they had all this stuff all ready to roll and to be implemented properly.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like CONMEBOL actually went out and tried to do their due diligence a little bit.
With smaller fields.
Yeah.
Less money.
So yeah, the grass produced across the United States for the tournament utilizes a special technology whereby the company seeds any material on top of a bed of plastic to ensure all grass grows to an unwavering height and density. CONMEBOL labeled the system ready to play due to the product's ability to be transported, installed, and available for immediate use. Kuhn confirmed that the technology was the same used on pitches in Europe, indirectly responding to those comments, comparing the Copa America to Europa or European champions conditions.
What pitches in Europe? That's not how most the pitches in Europe. The pitches in Europe don't have a bunch of cracks and seals.
You don't think those fields aren't grown by seeding plastic?
I mean, all I can tell you is they're laid out with seals in between of them.
Hmm.
In Europe.
No, that's because they don't have to worry about shipping it because, I mean, their environment's cohesive enough for growing grass properly. And a lot of the United States can be done that way too. But I mean, you play a game, I don't know, in the rain. Insert random place here that has grass. I mean, you can do it in Chicago. You can do it anywhere. You can grow grass.
Dude, this is not fucking rocket science. It really is not. Growing grass on a field is not fucking rocket science. What is making things more complicated is when you're shipping strips of grass in to lay over plastic and the seals haven't had enough time to come together. And so you got players literally tripping over the joints where the two different slabs meet. That's unacceptable. And we heard a lot of people complain about it, including Bielsa and players.
Yeah.
Who were afraid of breaking a fucking ankle if they got their cleats stuck in between one of the seals.
And I'm just thinking, I'm like, you know, a piece of sod that's been grown, rolled up, shipped over, placed on plastic, because that's what it says here. It says the company seeds any material on top of a bed of plastic. I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, you start running on that, that's gonna move around. It's not like it's like rubber. If it was on top of rubber or something like that, it might hold up.
Yeah,
you may not necessarily shift it as much. I don't know.
I'm not a rubberologist, and I'm not. But I will say this. I should be using the word seams. I've been using the seals because what you want with the seams is they are sealed. They are sealed. And what everybody was saying was they weren't sealed. There were definitely gaps between the seams.
Yeah.
And they were fucking people up and they were making the play bad. Bielsa was talking about like the ball bounced and it would just die on certain of parts of the pitch.
Well, and a lot of that stems down to how long the turf had to seal.
Exactly.
So not every game and not every venue had the same procedure in the end. To use that as an example, for the inaugural match at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, pitch installation was 3 days prior to the game.
That's ridiculous.
3 days. On June 17th, when a refrigerated truck transported the rolls of grass to the stadium for crews to complete the 48-hour conversion. So it had no time.
No time to come together. No time to seal the seams.
But the venues later on in the tournament had more than enough time to seal together, work mesh, and they were they were doing more tests and everything on those stadiums. They're like, oh, see, look, no, it works perfectly fine. Well, that's because it's been placed for 2 weeks now.
Bielsa didn't think so. Bielsa didn't think so. Yeah. He did not think so. He thought that Uruguay Colombia game was shit. This basically said the seams were still open.
Yeah.
They were still causing a problem. They were still affecting the way the ball bounced. Do I believe him? I mean, why wouldn't I? I don't think he's doing that. What a weird and
strange thing to randomly come up with at that point. Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's not saying that's why they lost the game. He just said this is bullshit treatment. This whole tournament was bullshit. The way it was put out was bullshit. The way we were treated was bullshit. The practice fields were bullshit. Everything was bullshit. Some of the venues were bullshit that we had to stay in. I mean, it's like he forgot they lost. He was just pissed about how the whole tournament was organized. And I get it. I'll let you read that. Go ahead.
The Federation completed several tests prior to the game, including the resistance and performance trials, to ensure that the grass met the organization's standards of quality, density, and force. But the measures failed to convince participants, insisting that the panels of grass parched together affected the speed of play and the way the ball rolled, which is what you basically just stated prior to this clip coming up.
Yeah, you could have just played Bielsa's rant.
Could have. It would have said exactly what I just said here, but in much more colorful terms.
It would have just summarized it. Yes, for sure.
So, No, it's so this is one of the talking points that all the big big Twitter talking heads from Europe have when they say, "Oh, U.S. shouldn't host it." Well, motherfucker, the U.S. had nothing to do with the actual fields itself. This was all through CONMEBOL.
CONMEBOL did the grass. They did the grass.
It's like, I don't want to hear you bitching about something you have no idea what you're bitching about.
And then guess what? The practice fields, like say for Bolivia, who laid down the grass for the practice fields? CONMEBOL. And the Bolivian team said it was unplayable.
Yeah, they couldn't practice. Yeah.
It's unplayable. So, all right.
Old heap of garbage coming from these naysayers.
Derek admires a good rant. Bielsa is his hero.
That's fair. That's fair.
I do like a good rant when it's necessary. And that was necessary.
Let's look at this clip from Miami. One of the other are obviously big talking points is the security level or security of the finals.
Yep. By the way, all 450 people of you here, like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. Make sure you invite your stepsister over to watch the show. All right.
I'm thoroughly impressed. You've been doing really good as far as making sure to hit that up at least 2 or 3 times a show.
Third time tonight.
Good job. Good job, man.
I put up 4 fingers, though.
Third time, guys.
Oh, a little too much of this. All right.
Fair enough. Well, let's see. There's so people are complaining about the security at Hard Rock Stadium or whatever it's called. They're saying
Hardcock Stadium.
Yeah. There wasn't enough security there, which is why all the bad things happened. But
go ahead, play it.
Let's listen to what the Miami News
local CBS Miami
had to say about this. This is a couple days prior, by the way.
The eyes of the world will be on South Florida this weekend as Hard Rock Stadium plays host to the Copa America final. Colombia will take on Argentina Sunday night, and police say there will be plenty of security on hand to prevent a repeat of what we saw Wednesday night. That's when players...
Incorrect, sir.
Plenty, huh?
Yep. That's why you had people crawling through the vents like they were vermin. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, I'm sure there's enough security.
I feel like the guy that's on site is sitting there like, are you really suggesting that? No, but that's just his face. That's just how he looks.
I mean, when have you ever seen people crawling through vents to get in a stadium? I've never seen that in my life. And
I still don't believe they're actually out of the vents yet.
What does that say about the desperation? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But
I do want to say my entire take on this whole thing, as far as the thousands upon thousands of non-ticket purchasers that rushed and ended up getting into the stadium, that ended up seeing the game, and you had thousands upon thousands of ticketed fans
like
pushed away and said, hey, there's already too many people in here. You can't come in here. I understand you have a ticket. Nope, you can't come in here. I'm sorry. My take on this is that the stadium, the event organizers, which would be CONMEBOL, should have said, hey, we're postponing the match. Kick everybody the fuck out of the stadium. And if we can do that in a timely fashion, we'll have the game immediately following that. If not, we're doing it Monday. Ticket people can come on Monday.
Game's over. There's not going to be a game tonight. The game will be played on Monday. And anybody who doesn't have a ticket, don't even bother showing up.
All you're doing by playing that game later, all those people who had no tickets, is you're encouraging that mentality. You're encouraging them to do it again.
So Tack had the video where there were thousands of people outside the stadium with tickets. And yet he was looking at the board showing the stadium inside. The stadium was full.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck?
There are a lot of people that were being interviewed by the local news saying, I've got tickets. I got shunned by the security that was supposed to, stop all this. They got shunned. Said, hey, you guys can't come in here. We don't have any room. Get out of here. Go away.
Johnny says, screw that. Tack didn't want it nearly enough.
He should have been the first one in the events. First one. Army crawling through the HVAC. Come on.
I suppose that he didn't want it enough. He had no bark in that dogfight. So, he was just there because, he wanted to see the finals.
Julian, I will get to your super chat when we get to that topic. And you know what? Let's cover it real quick, and then I'll bring it back up later because I don't want to accidentally forget it.
Julian Vivas says for $4.99, hi, just arrived. What do you guys think of Rafa Benitez rumor? Also, is De La Fuente really interested in the U.S. men's national team job? We will cover this, Julian, in the last segment of the show. We're going to go through a list of almost 15 different managers that have been, in the news, and we will rate them. We will grade them based on whether or not they'd be great for the job, and then we'll give a comment how likely it is they would be, picked. So we'll get to that. Yes, I've had Rafa is going to be in that group, so we'll get to that in a minute here. I don't know how much longer we're going to cover this.
I don't want to cover any more of that video because even though the entire video is kind of humorous,
I feel like
we got the gist.
I feel like we're beating a dead horse at this point.
We're gonna beat it some more, Derek. Don't worry.
Do we have to?
We do have to. Yes.
Why?
We have to, Derek.
Okay.
You don't understand the people. So I wanted to show a couple videos of the people trying to break into the stadium, and this is me showing this is to indicate that regardless of the number of people of the security up front, preventing the people from breaking through the gates, there was still some very creative thought processes in how to get to watch this match.
Shout out for tactical manager.
Yeah.
And this is when he decided.
There's actually audio here. I was unaware that he had audio running this.
Yes. And this is both Colombian and Argentinian fans doing this.
9 p.m. here. People are climbing the fence. I don't know if they have tickets. I think more people are going there. I don't know. But people are just climbing it. What is going on? Cancel the event.
Yes. That's what I'm saying too, right?
Yep. I think
cancel that event.
At a point last night, they actually considered it. But, you've got TV commercials lined up. You've got sponsors. You've got, it's hard to say cancel and reschedule for tomorrow.
Reschedule for tomorrow. You'll still have the sponsorships there and everything like that, but
there's already scheduled program on Fox for Monday, and so you'd have to put it on Fox 3 or whatever the fuck it is.
That's fair. That's fair enough. It makes sense. But
but
all right,
go ahead and play the next one.
For this, I guess, right?
What is going on here? People are getting into the Copa America through the ventilation.
Once again, guys, this is Tactical Manager.
What is going on here?
Dude,
I him on YouTube. Make sure you follow him on Twitter.
What is going on here?
I am claustrophobic as fuck.
Into the Copa America through the ventilation system?
I am not climbing through a vent.
It looks like they're immediately going down, so they probably popped one of the panels immediately.
What is going on here?
So it's probably just an immediate jump down on the other side of the wall.
But
still, that's fucking creative. Because it's gonna kick me out of this. Let me do this real quick. You alluded to this and you ruined the meme so early, Derek. So early. But this is fucking hysterical.
Oh yeah, I didn't know you.
Absolutely hysterical. I saw this. I'm like, dude, gotta bring this up. This is funny as fuck.
Yeah, he's climbing through a vent because fuckers are trying to kill him.
Trying to kill him, yeah.
Not because he wants to go to a soccer game. I'm not climbing through vents to get into a soccer game. Ain't happening.
No chance in hell. Nope. If I don't have tickets, then I'm just gonna watch it on TV like the rest of us.
And it's gonna be on TV. So why bum rush this? Just stay in your hotel or wherever you are, your home, and watch the game. Yeah. There's absolutely no need to steal other people's tickets. Yeah, I don't know. So we can't even say, are these ticket people who have tickets who are just pissed off? Or are these people without tickets who are pissed off and want to get in? We don't know who has tickets there or doesn't have tickets.
It's safe to assume that if you're crawling through an HVAC or if you're climbing across a 15-foot fence or on top of the wheel call just to get to the second floor, you probably don't have a fucking ticket.
Hold on. That's not true. There were thousands of fans outside that stadium who wanted to very badly get in, who had tickets. Maybe some of them said, fuck it, finally, and said,
and you know, that's
hell or high way, I'm getting in this bitch.
I'll allow it, Derek. It is possible that they got turned down at the gates and said, hey, there's already too many fuckers here. And they're like, well, screw you. I'm climbing that fence, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the percentages are. We're never going to know that, of how many people with actual tickets were like, well, fuck it. If they're not going to let me in, I'm going to find a way in. I'm sure there was a percentage of people who did that. Mm-hmm. Was it the majority? Probably not. But I'm just trying to be nice here. Trying to be nice.
$2K a ticket, I'm jumping anything.
Yeah, I mean, you got your ticket, right? So if you're confronted, you're like, listen, bitch,
fuck you, bitch.
I got a ticket.
I mean, do you think CONMEBOL is going to be paying those people who didn't get to attend back? Or do you think they're just screwed up? Not only that, it's $2K ticket, but assume you get your ticket through a scalper, because that's going to happen. And how much more are you going to pay for that shit?
I don't know.
Mean, you're never going to get your money back. Never going to get your money back.
I don't think so. Yep.
Head of Colombian Football Federation was and his 43-year-old son were arrested after Colombia's loss to Argentina.
Yeah, we have no context for this. We don't know why this happened, what went on, what the context is, but chaos often creates calamity. Mm-hmm. Chaos creates calamity, and that's apparently what happened here. So
they wanted to see Shakira's halftime show.
Lou, thank you, Lou, for $1.99. Good to see you around, brother. We love you.
Felipe Cardenas says match day ops, security, and physical running of the tournament is 100% CONMEBOL per CONCACAF. So once again, though, all the people talking shit about US not being able to host the World Cup, again, this is yet another talking point that's not on us.
A lot of blame shifting going around right here, right now.
Yeah.
So
it is getting passed around like crazy, because here's another one, right?
CONMEBOL's accusing Hard Rock Stadium authorities for yesterday's deplorable actions. This is embarrassing for all involved. This is why you should never sell control in your own territory if you're CONCACAF US Soccer. Yeah, so, but again, this is just the blame game getting passed along. I don't think that Hercules is saying he's endorsing this point of view. Okay, that it's on Hard Rock.
No,
I think
I agree with you on that.
He's just accusing Hard Rock of it.
I think he's accusing USSF and CONCACAF for allowing CONMEBOL to be able to run this in their area. Because I do have a video pulled up where I think they're going to talk about it, but it's basically saying, hey, in 2016 when CONCACAF ran it, smooth as butter.
Yep.
And now CONMEBOL wants to get that big payday. They're cheaping out in certain aspects of it, and there's the issues. Now it's falling on CONCACAF because you gave away the right to run an event in your area. So that is kind of what he's saying there, and that's fair. In the end, CONMEBOL, you decided to run the tournament so you could get more of the money, and you did a poor job. Kind of simple, honestly. Yeah.
Yep. Kind of simple.
This is the statement from CONMEBOL.
I'm gonna let you read that. Small.
I'm gonna. Okay. Very good.
Just read the important parts.
Yeah. In this situation, CONMEBOL was subject to the decision made by the Hard Rock Stadium authorities, according to the contractual responsibilities established for security operations. They're basically claiming that they came to. Let me go back up one paragraph, I guess. As it's already known, during the final held in Miami, fans without tickets went to the stadium's vicinity, which delayed the normal access of people who did have tickets, slowing down the entry and leading to the closure of doors, which is basically squeezing everybody to a central finite location of entry, which is what they're kind of alluding to here. But they're saying, in addition to the preparations determined in this contract, CONMEBOL recommended to these authorities that the procedures proven in events of this magnitude, which were not taken into account. So, hey, this is going to be a massive match. Maybe you guys need to get more security in here. And Hard Rock said, fuck you. We handle events all the time. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, blame shifting.
Yeah. Well, you had is it coming up here? Yeah, you had the report here from Martin Lieberman saying here at the stadium, there's a rumor that CONMEBOL intimated that CONCACAF, in charge of security yesterday, to reinforce security. The authorities' response would have been that everything was under control and that there were enough people. What world do they live in? Don't you know what football is? And again, Felipe came in and says, I am told this is false. Via a CONCACAF official, CONMEBOL told me days ago that the same security measures would be in place tonight at Hard Rock Stadium rather than extra security. So,
Yep. I mean, this will all clear up in the weeks coming.
Yeah, there'll be some investigation, some research into finding out what happened. And this is resolved in the easiest possibility or possible situation. Show your fucking receipts.
Right.
I'm sure the conversations between you and Hard Rock weren't done in person. I'm sure that there was some vocalization via email or whatever. Show your receipts. Show that you told them that. CONCACAF, show them that CONMEBOL said, no, this is we're going to go as scheduled with the same security. There are receipts available.
I think Fumar makes a great point here. I think CONMEBOL assumed they could cut corners because their fans wouldn't show their ass in America. Yeah, I think that's probably true. They thought it would be,
You can't show your ass in America. Where can you show it?
They're Colombian Americans, It's not going to be like the craziness in actual South America. But they were wrong. But we're not going to, well, you can play the 12th thing. He has his point of view too. Let's get it in.
Have less security than a Hurricanes versus Ball State football game. That tells you that Miami, the Dolphins family, Hard Rock was not in charge. From everything I can gather over the last 24 to 48 hours is that CONCACAF, the U.S. owners of these stadiums, provided the base of what CONMEBOL should have done. They chose not to do that. They chose to take the money, and it's gross. It's real gross.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I think we might be done beating this dead horse, Brett.
Quit telling me what to do.
I can't talk about this anymore.
That's fine. You have stuff that you told me to pull up that you still haven't covered.
I know, but it's redundant at this point. We've hammered this home.
It doesn't matter. We're still covering stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So Twelman does talk about how somebody had, I think it was Twelman at least, maybe it was in one of the other shows, how they had talked to somebody who was like, I was young enough to have actually been at Hillsborough. That's what they thought was going to happen.
Yes, and it looked like it could. Like, if you watch some of those videos and how packed in those people are like sardines, we could have got another Hillsborough. This could have been an absolute crushing incident. And I remember when I was working on an article on Hillsborough. It was some sort of anniversary. It's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And actually sending my article back and forth to Bobby McMahon at the time as I was developing the article. And I was working on photos of the Hillsborough disaster that are basically you can't find online anymore because they're so horrific. That's how horrific the photos were. I had special access to the photos. And that could have happened again today. That kind of crush. And by the way, dying that way is maybe one of the worst ways in the world to die. You slowly suffocate.
Yep.
And
miserable, yeah.
So they're just lucky that something that horrible didn't happen. And honestly, if you're not familiar with the Hillsborough incident, go look it up. I mean, it could have easily been fixed or stopped at some point by the local police, who sat by and did nothing. And the security did nothing. Did the fans do what fans do? Yeah. You know, they're enthusiastic. They're over enthusiastic. That's what fans are. A lot of them are. And so, did some of them, were they way over enthusiastic? Absolutely. But in the end, as an organizer of an event, you can't set up a situation for failure like that. And we almost saw that yesterday. We almost saw that. So,
so I actually do have the Bielsa and Marsch criticism pulled up here because it was part of Herc's show. That's the reason why I remembered having it. I'm happy if you want to go over this, we can. But I'm happy to actually skip the last two videos we have here because we have covered what they're going to be talking about, and it would be recapping basically what we said in the last.
Yeah, we flogged it.
Do you want to cover his statement though?
Whose?
Bielsa's and Marsch's.
No, we already talked about it.
Guys, if you want to actually hear or read, I guess if you don't necessarily speak the same language, go to Herc's show and follow that because he does have some nice choice words about the organization and the way they ran that event.
Yeah, we flogged the shit out of this.
I was telling you, man. There's a lot to talk about. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Just in a,
it's a major fucking talking point that happened.
I know. I get it.
So.
The safety part for me is really important. We do not need fans dying. We do need organizations that actually care about running an organization or running a tournament in the proper way. We do need all the confederations to realize that this is not just a money-making venture. They have a responsibility for safety. They have a responsibility for doing a good job and putting together good fields and not fucking fans over who have tickets. This is all important. And yes, we do have to hold those organizations, responsible when they're shitty. And the people who are responsible here need to be held responsible. So, yes, in that case, is it important? It's absolutely important. Is it an hour important? Maybe. Maybe not.
We absolutely could have gone longer, but again, it would have just been rehashing the same things we've already talked about over the last hour. So,
yeah,
like I said, I'm more than I looked at my notes and go, we literally talked about it for about an hour. So yeah, we could probably skip these little video clips. So
right. The rumors that U.S. Soccer has signed Toronto are fake. I don't think who said he was signed.
Clearly, you've taken a break from Twitter because it's apparently on Twitter somewhere. I don't know. I haven't.
I have not. I was on Twitter today. I did not see anything about Toronto being signed.
I'm sorry. Nothing about the U.S. coaching rumors have really struck my wall, my feed. It's 100% been what we just talked about as far as Copa. So
shit. I should tag. If I would have seen this earlier, I would have tagged and. Because I haven't seen signed. I've seen, or have they reached out to him? And that all came from Doug. Again, we've already talked about that earlier. Doug McIntyre coming out, being interviewed on Fox. And, the first name that came out of his mouth with Dolo. And Doug McIntyre being as closely connected with U.S. Soccer as he is, having the inside path on all the information there, and usually being a pretty competent deliverer of U.S. Soccer's message and information because he's got that inside track. Him saying that made us all thought, oh, shit. Doug McIntyre just said Dolo's the guy for the job and laid out all the bullet points for it. So, yeah, we're going to assume that. So, Doug, in the future, you need to say, this is my opinion. It's my opinion. They should hire Dolo. It's not the opinion of anyone in U.S. Soccer who I'm intimately connected with. This is my opinion. Because generally, if Doug says something, during an interview about what U.S. soccer is going to do next, I'm assuming he's got somebody in there with an inside voice that he has been privy to. And he didn't say that. So I assumed he knew something that we didn't. And lots of people did, not just me. Lots of people assumed that after watching that Doug McIntyre interview.
And it could be some cryptic tweets made a lot of people assume that Cherundolo was hired, and that's what Tack might be referring to. I'm scrolling through Twitter just to see if I can find anything about it. And if anybody has anything on this, let me tag me on it or send it to me, DM me, whatever.
Yeah.
But and then a lot of people like, oh, you made me think that Cherundolo was hired. And I found out that it's just some cryptic, like, oh, we're doomed, totally doomed type of post.
And so I haven't heard a word about him being signed. Yeah. So I haven't heard that rumor at all. If somebody's putting it out there, I don't think it's true. Yet. I was told, says Tack, that they are actually aiming for higher level international coach. Let's believe and hope they land a top coach, an outsider. Oh, and don't believe a lot of rumors out there. We know they actually reached out to Klopp. It doesn't make sense to aim that high and then contact Cherundolo. So again, don't believe all the rumors. They haven't talked to Cherundolo. Okay, completely fine that you're revealing that, but I don't think it was rumors. People listen to Doug McIntyre. People who know Doug McIntyre know his connections with U.S. Soccer. So why did Doug McIntyre go on Fox and pitch Cherundolo to the whole country? Because that's what he did. And he never said it was his opinion. He was acting like he was reporting shit. So Doug's got to get his shit together so he doesn't throw everybody off the scent or give us some horse shit. That's his opinion. And if it is his opinion, he needs to tell us it's his opinion. It's not like people are out there following these Cherundolo rumors for nothing. Doug set that fire off. He set it off all by himself. Period.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Nope, no problem. I'm just.
I mean, Doug is a mouthpiece of U.S. soccer. Can we be honest? So that's why when he goes on a show and they ask him questions, he needs to distinguish between that which he is reporting and that which he is his personal opinion. And he did not do that on that show. He did not make that distinction. So you can't blame hundreds and thousands of people for thinking, well, shit, that probably means Steve Cherundolo is the number one candidate. And now Tack's saying he didn't even get a call yet. I kind of find that hard to believe, actually.
Yeah.
But by the way, that does not mean we don't like Tack. We love him. We love him. This isn't a disagreement. It's just a different way of looking at this. Because I don't think all the people that are Dolo people out there who are worried Dolo's going to get hired, it's just out of mere rumor. They listened to Doug McIntyre and what Doug McIntyre said. And they assumed Doug had some inside info. So,
again, that's assuming he's referring to Doug in this situation as far as, and again, I can't find anything else on Twitter. I don't want to waste my time on here while we're streaming to find anything, but.
Right. So, I mean, I hope in the future that Doug McIntyre comes out and says, this is my opinion. Because that's what we need from him. That's what we need. Otherwise, we're going to assume you are delivering U.S. Soccer's message. Because that's what you have done time and time and time and time again. Okay?
But did you see after Doug came out and said that Dolo's being heavily considered, that he immediately went that weekend and lost to Columbus 5-1?
Yep. He got slaughtered.
Oof.
Slaughtered.
Oof.
By Wilfred Nancy. Yep.
That's no bueno.
The notion has gone around on social media that U.S. Soccer is only looking at a domestic candidate for U.S. men's national team. Nobody said that. I mean, okay, some people
will say that, yeah.
I doubt that's, I mean, anybody saying that has gone to the dark side, completely to the dark side. Like there's not even a little light crack coming in, and lacks ambition to go higher. Multiple sources have told me over the last day that is flat out unequivocally false. I think we reported on here that they had indeed reached out to Klopp, and that was a good sign, which meant they're probably shooting for the stars first. And I think that's generally what most people thought. They're going to shoot for the stars first and settle in the end if they have to settle. But I don't think they're going to have to settle. I think somebody out there who is a bigger name than an MLS coach that's coached for 2.5 seasons in Toronto, and Wilfred Nancy, who's done some amazing things in 3 or 4 seasons in MLS. I think they're better choices. But I think that, you know, those two names are they an improvement over Greg? Yeah, quite possibly they are. And I'm not going to lose my shit if we do our due diligence and ask all the right people and they all said, go fuck it, go fuck yourself. And as long as that's very clear that, hey, here are all the people we reached out to. We reached out to 30 candidates and managers across the spectrum with international experience and club experience at high levels, winners, real winners. And they all told us to go stick a fucking dildo up our asshole. So we had to end up, you know, coming back home and looking for a manager.
That's the equivalent of saying, I asked 35, models on a date and decided to come home and date a cow instead.
A cow?
Yeah, a portly woman, you know?
A cow. I mean, literally a cow. That would be funny.
Well, I am from Indiana. You never know. You know? God Snake says, whoa, where'd all the tabs go? Yeah, they an hour and 50 minutes later, we're down to few.
Yeah, I mean, remember when tab was a drink? Remember that?
I do remember that, yes.
Yeah, where'd all the tabs go? We drank them.
and they either bought out or ran out of business, or maybe they're still in production. I don't know. Yeah. But who the fuck still drinks tab?
I really do think and hope. I have no clue what's going on right now about who's being talked to outside of what's being reported, that you guys all know too, who's going to get hired here. But we're going to go through some of the coaches here.
The funny thing is that somebody was like, we need to be reaching out to X, Y, and Z Euro coach. What the fuck has Nancy done to warrant consideration for the U.S. men's national team job? I'm like, well, you know, he has made Columbus entertaining to watch, which is a hell of a fucking feat.
Yes.
The only stronger feat would be if they made Chicago more entertaining to watch.
Well, shit, dude. He made Montreal a decent team.
Yeah.
And that team sucks, you know, aardvark penis. So, you know, listen, we're going to shoot for the stars first. Let's just say that. And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We end up coming home. But I would seriously doubt, of all the people we're just about to talk to, that they're all going to say no. All right, we'll start with this one. Spain. Luis de la Fuente contacted U.S. Soccer about vacant men's job 2 days before Euros win over England. So you have information on his salary? Because that's really the only reason he would do this.
Yeah, apparently he was making about approximately 600 euro per year. And apparently Spain is planning to bump it up to about 1.8 mil.
So he's looking at what Berhalter was making. And
guarantees and everything was like 2 point something,
2.3. Yeah, somewhere around there. So yeah, I'm sure he's thinking, oh, well, I can make more money there. Yeah. He's just using us for leverage. Probably. With the Spanish Federation. I mean, as this article says, this article says it's not that far-fetched. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
From a financial standpoint, it's not far-fetched, but from a likely standpoint, yeah, it is.
He doesn't speak English either, by the way.
They can make do for a year and a half, whatever.
I mean,
a number of the players have. There's a couple players that play in La Liga at some point in time, and they can translate. I mean, Musa is freaking fluent in Spanish.
Sure, but that's always what all I'm saying is that's been a U.S. soccer requirement.
Fair enough. But
I could give two shits, frankly. I couldn't care. I don't care.
Fair enough. Betty Crocker did come out and did not say that English was a required language for the next coach. So we never know.
All right. Well, if that's the case, that's a change of policy, number one. Winkley Gonzalez says for $1.99, thank you, my brother. At least the Argentinian and Colombian fans show some baddies. Oh, you mean the pictures of the women with boobs?
Yeah. Pootoe had tagged us on Twitter, and I go on there. He usually posts like some topics, some articles here, or maybe like some transfer news there. And then I click on it, I scroll up, and it's two Argentinian women with their boobs popped out with little Argentine flags right here. And I'm just like, dude, put it in and not safe for work tag on that shit, man.
Well, they had the nipples covered, so
fair
that
enough. But I mean, still probably not good for a school district.
Well, probably not. By the way, almost 500 of you in here right now. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with grandma. Invite your stepsister over for lunch and watch the show tomorrow if she's not with you right now. Let's see. So, okay.
Yeah, to your point, as far as one of the requirements from U.S. soccer has always been has to speak English. I brought up Moose as one, but LB says Gio Reyna and Pepe are bilingual. Weston speaks a fuck ton. I know Pulisic is multilingual at this point as well.
Listen, I never
shouldn't be a barrier anymore.
I never thought it was a barrier.
Yeah,
this isn't us. This isn't me. This isn't you. That was a U.S. soccer requirement. Bielsa seems to be doing fine wherever he goes. When he was at Leeds, he didn't speak any English whatsoever. They didn't seem to have a problem with it, and I think we'll all get used to it, and it'll be fine. It's just a prior requirement they are changing. And I don't mind listening to a translator or learning more Spanish. All right. Next.
All right, I couldn't respond to somebody there. Yeah, that's all I had on those. So I figured we just pulled the ones you want on here.
Well, let's start with Rafa Benitez. There he is. So apparently the rumors are that Rafa has reached out and said, I'm interested. We better interview him. And listen, I know he's had his ups and downs and he's never really coached internationally, but the guy knows his shit. I mean, it wasn't his fault that Celta Vigo is not that great in the last season and that he got fired. But you know what? He's had some good stints. I mean, he did a lot with Liverpool. I still trust him. I really do. I still trust this guy. And I think he's so experienced, I'd be willing to give him a shot.
Yeah. I mean, he's absolutely experienced. And it's just whether or not he can get, our boys up and running in the right direction.
And he won't put up with any shit, and he won't have any favorites. He's business. Business. It's all about business. Doing your job. I kind of like this pick. So I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give this pick a B. Wouldn't be my first pick. Not going to give him an A. I'm going to give it a B. As far as likeliness, strong. I'd say strong likeliness. That he would say yes would basically be what I would say. I think he would say yes. Strong likeliness for a yes. As far as overall quality and history, a B. B plus. Not an A. Next would be, we already did Luis de Fuente. I'd give that another B and or a B plus as well.
In terms of it being a strong hire, not necessarily a likely hire.
But not very likely. I think Spain will want to hold on to him. He just won the Euros, and they're going into the.
Well, I mean, if Klopp is sitting there yelling out, "Hey, 10 mil," I mean, De La Fuente is probably going to go like 5 mil.
No, I think De La Fuente will take 2 mil to stay in Spain.
Probably.
Yeah. The next one is Thomas Tuchel.
No.
As far as overall fit,
he is in shape. I'll give him that.
Well, and he takes no shit. He's a dominant. He's a type A. He's a top dog. You know what? He's in command. He has a poor relationship with Pulisic, according to Pulisic's book.
Yeah.
So that would need to be mended.
You just use your eyes and watch his last season at Chelsea. I mean, of course. Judgmental Deity says Tuchel. So we go from one terrorist to another. Well, this one's a better terrorist, but still a terrorist.
This is a terrorist that won Champions League.
Yeah. With Pulisic.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to give this an A-, but personally in my gut, I don't want to watch it. But as far as a big name hire, A-. I think he would definitely force and hold the players accountable for their performances. I just don't really want to watch his ball. I don't want to watch his style of soccer, really.
Think of how much cycling between the rosters we'd see.
Yeah. I mean, there'd be a lot of cycling, probably a whole fucking shitload of formations. I don't know. Maybe he would adapt himself.
Not the Yerman I'd want to have.
But he's still an A-. Likeliness of this happening? I'd say possible. I'd say possible.
God blessed.
Yep. I'd say possible. What do you think?
I don't want him.
Yeah, I know. I don't want him either. I really don't. But I'd still think he's a high quality manager.
I feel like Pulisic would have enough say with USSF says, no, fuck that guy. And USSF are going to go, all right, fine, Pulisic. We'll give you this one again.
I mean, if you take yourself out of your own personal feelings about Tuchel, and that's what I've done here.
He's great for Bayern. You're right.
I don't want him either, but it's like a big step up. He's won the Champions League.
Give me Klopas over.
All right.
Beggars can be choosers. You're right.
Here's a ridiculous pick that Charlie Davies needs to stop talking about. Javi. The likelihood of this happening are absolutely zero.
Des would be happy.
Des would hate it. And it's just not happening, people. This is so unlikely. It's nutso city. It's not happening. And even if it did, I don't know if the way Javi likes to play would be anywhere near what our team could accomplish. And I think Javi would just be frustrated for days. I don't think he would be happy. I think he would be a very frustrated manager. I don't think he wants it. And I don't think he would like to be here. And I don't think he likes our player pool very much. If he thinks Dest's shit, who's one of our best players, he's going to think our whole team's shit.
Well, I mean, obviously the difference between thinking Des sucks when you're looking at a club level like Barcelona, and then Des sucks when you're looking at U.S. men's national team player pool. I'm sure he'll have a different opinion.
You'd hope.
We'll probably be like, God, this will be the closest thing to Barcelona I can get.
Yeah. So I'm not going to give this one a grade because I think it's got 0% chance of happening. 0. All right, next one, David Wagner. So David Wagner has had an up and then a down and then, a very roller coaster career. He did some amazing things with Huddersfield. I think he'd be okay. Like, I could live with that. So I'm going to give that
I think he'd be realistic, and I'd be okay with it.
super realistic on the scale of realisticness. It's very realistic.
I mean, he's still currently looking for a gig because he's no longer with Norwich. So
right, would he just be a B? Yeah, he'd just be a B. You know, like a B- higher. But it's better than a C higher or a C+. I'd give him a B.
Derek,
Solid B.
Did you say Wagner or did you say Wagner? What did you say?
I did say Wagner.
Okay, that's right. Okay, I thought you did.
Yeah, I just did it instinctively. So, so David Wagner would be nice. I think he's also extremely realistic. I don't know if he's been called or contacted, but if that's what we have to fall back on as our, like, not our A group, but our B group, I could live with it. I think I could live with it. He's got plenty of experience in the Premier League, the Championship, successful in the Championship, kept his team up in the Premier League for a season, had some bumpy roads after that in Switzerland and going back to Schalke in Germany.
PFOC, I think, in that year. Wasn't that PFOC's big year? 21-22?
I don't know, but I know it was after PFOC left.
Oh.
And you know what? He knows the player pool. He understands. He played for the U.S. men's national team. It's a little tiny bit of a bonus point. Not much, though. So, but I take it if that's what we have to fall back from the A's, right?
Oh, here you go. He's got Danny. He knows Danny Williams.
Yep. Unfortunately, Danny Williams has been retired after injury for years.
I thought he was still playing this season.
No. Cheers to Danny Williams. Danny Williams doesn't play soccer. He hasn't played soccer for like 3 years. All right, next one. Yergi Love. What? You want to look up Danny Williams? Go ahead. I'm just telling you the truth. Not the boxer.
Is it this one?
Yep. Nope.
That's not him.
Nope. Wrong one. Too many motherfuckers named Danny Williams on this planet.
Oh, fuck it. It doesn't really matter. I don't care anymore. I've lost interest.
Dude, he hasn't played for years. Danny Williams. For years. Years. Not a year. Years. With an S. All right, next one is Yergi Love.
They spell Yergi.
I'd go with Joachim. No, Joachim. This is his real name. Joachim.
There it is.
There it is. Shit, I didn't know I have to spell people's names tonight.
You're
All
expecting me to be able to, I mean, I guess I've been pretty good as far as spelling is, and pronouncing is different, but.
Yeah. So Yergi Love. It falls into the A category. He's won a World Cup. He's massively experienced. My only concern is that no one wants to hire him. He's been unemployed for a while. What's going on with that? I don't get that. Is there something we don't know about? Are people anti-booger eater? Are people anti-ass picker?
No, maybe he's just tired and wants to relax a bit. He's 64 years old.
That's not that old, dude, for a coach.
I'm just saying maybe he is. Maybe he is tired.
Is there an anti-armpit sniffer like collusion going on out there in the Bundesliga that nobody wants to hire?
Are you saying there's cancel culture within the soccer realms?
Well, based on booger eating, armpit sniffing, and butt picking, could be. I don't know, but he would fall into the A category for us. But he is mysterious. I can't even put a finger.
His hair is funny. Hard pass.
I couldn't even put a finger on. This is gross. I can't put a finger on not only his boogers, but where he stands and how likely he would be to be open to this idea. Like, I don't know. I seriously don't know if he would be open to it, or as you said earlier, he's just enjoying retirement. And fuck it, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't.
Handful of decades worth of playing.
And number of years now with no coaching.
Yeah. Since 21. Yeah.
So that's just weird. He has a coach for 3 years. Bandit says he ate a booger. Yes, he did. You can go find that. He ate more than one. He eats his own boogers. All right.
Question mark there? I thought that was really well known.
All right. Mauricio. M-A-U-R-C-I-O. Pochettino. P-O-C. There you go. Again, another guy that falls into the A's category that I hope we're talking to. I know people are going to say, but he wasn't very good at PSG. I saw that. Who has coached PSG has had a great time coaching PSG?
Tuchel.
No one. All of them hate coaching for that tyrant of an owner that they've got. Like almost everybody, as soon as they get there, wants to leave. Coaching at PSG is just like a nightmare in general. So I wouldn't hold that against him. And then Chelsea are stupid. Like, they finally, Pochettino figured out a way to pull that scrap of players they all just bought together and win a bunch of games at the end of the season to end up, in the top half of the table. And it really looked like they had their shit together. And then they fired him. So he's available. And I would put this in mid-likely. I think Pochettino would consider it, Brett.
Jumping onto the Chelsea bashing here, I figure if you are a club that's been in disarray for a couple of years now, constantly just throwing money at the wall, seeing if anything sticks, the best way to gain some form of continuity and growth as a club is to constantly fire your managers.
When do they actually look themselves in the mirror, Chelsea, and go, we bought a bunch of shit players.
Overpriced.
we overpaid for guys that aren't really that great. I don't know. Why don't you fire yourselves, assholes?
Mm-hmm.
I would not have fired Pochettino. But I'm glad they did because now he's available. His English isn't spectacular, but I think it's good enough. But as we said earlier, English doesn't seem to be a barrier right now for U.S. soccer. So I'm giving this an A, and I'm giving it a mid-likely. Mid. Not high, mid. Like if you had a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 5. All right. Next one would be Pellegrino Matarazzo. It's 2 L's on Pellegrino.
The really just put short one?
Nope. There we go. All right, Matarazzo.
1 L fucked it all up, really?
Yes, it did. I'm going to say unlikely at this point, even though I would give him a B+.
I think it would be likely if our federation was had any form of brains.
I have heard 0.
Exactly. That's my point, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if you want somebody that's realistic, that has experience, there you go. Realistic.
No mainstream media. Nobody leaking shit from U.S. soccer. Absolutely not a word. Nothing. It's as if Pellegrino Matarazzo doesn't exist.
Well, he's pretty young, Derek, and he doesn't have that much experience as a coach, right?
He's got plenty. In one of the best leagues in the world. And so the fact that, this guy has been coaching now in the Bundesliga, keeping teams up that were, looking like they're, first bringing teams up into the Bundesliga and then keeping them up as he did with Stuttgart, and then taking a team that was looking like it was going to be relegated in Hoffenheim and keeping them up.
Yeah.
This is a guy that does less with more. Less or more with less. Excuse me. Just more with less.
Your mind is still stuck with Chelsea.
Yeah, I know. So I just think that it's so super unlikely because it doesn't seem like anybody, like if even somebody in mainstream media was talking about Pellegrino Matarazzo, it would give me hope. Like somebody, some insider like a Doug McIntyre or a Paul Tenario or somebody was leaking his name out on occasion or once at all. Yep. Then I'd be like, okay, maybe he's in the running. It just doesn't seem like he is because he made some very slightly, I guess not perfect remarks about the hiring process, in the last round. And then that, Jesse Marsch confirmed, that process sucked. Like Matarazzo didn't even say the process sucked. He kind of said something like, yeah, it was kind of weird or off, or I can't remember the words he used. Like, if you're going to hold that against him, fine. But I would still put him in the B+ category, not A, but B+. I would take him tomorrow. And without that US soccer negativity, he should be in the very likely category, but he's not.
I know they're Italian names in general, but his three younger brothers are Leo, Frank, and Antonio, and his name is Pellegrino. I mean, it's one of these things is not like the other.
They're quite Italian American family, and he's an American. He'll relate to the players really well. He does need to relearn some English, apparently. Because of the interview he did recently. That's kind of funny because he kept saying, what's that word you say? What's that word you say? What do you mean? You know English? You speak English, perfect English. But he said it 3 times. How you say? Yeah, they were very angry. You didn't know the word angry? What the hell? You've been living in Germany that long? You forgot how to speak English? No, I think that I'm making a joke here, but he did say that in an interview. How do you say? That's crazy. That sounds so Italian to say that, or German to say that. How do you say? All right. Let's go to Marcel Gallardo.
Good Marcel?
Marcel Gallardo. 2 L's.
I just expected it to pop up there. I was looking for it.
I think that he would be, again, in the B category to B+. A lot of experience coaching some great teams in Argentina. And not for just a minute either. But I do think he's not on their radar of U.S. soccer. But I think if he was, he would be likely to consider the job. Gallardo's having family issues, so he won't be available. Well, then let's just knock him off and move off to the next guy. If Jack knows that for a fact. Jack, you know that for a fact? That
he knows Jack.
Marcelo and Jack are like, best buddies?
Of course.
Reach around partners? All right. Well, if that's true, I still don't think U.S. Soccer's really would take him that seriously because it just seems their pattern is South American? Nah. Nah. Has he coached in Europe? Nah. Has he coached in MLS? Maybe. Gallardo is pronounced like tortillas. A Y sound, not an L. Gallardo. Hey, still working on my Spanish, guys. If you were German, I would have got it. I would have nailed it. Or French, I would have gotten it too. But my Spanish is still a work in progress. Klopp, Jurgen Klopp. You don't have to. Nobody needs to see his face. So Jurgen Klopp, no, that ain't happening.
He's already he roughed it, so it doesn't matter.
We don't. So we're going to skip Jurgen Klopp because it's an absolutely 0% chance of it happening. Colin Reese says, I think Tab Ramos is going to get it. Colin, you do not know how negatively thought of, and I'm trying to put this in the right way without making it sound ridiculous.
I mean, middle fingers Tab threw up in the air.
So
fuck you.
Tab Ramos and U.S. Soccer are not friendly at all. Not at all. Their breakup was contentious, ugly, and
all because Tab didn't want to go to Chicago.
Tab's criticism of them afterwards makes him absolutely a 0% chance that he'll be hired. Because people at U.S. Soccer hold grudges. It's just a fact. And Tab was not a team player. He wanted to do the things with the U.S. Soccer teams that he wanted to do. And when they told him he had to do something different and they tried to force it on him, he said, fucking suck my dick. And he left and quit. And then he said kind of like relatively critical things about them since. So, no. Tab's a great guy. Generally honest about his criticisms. And because if you're generally honest about your criticisms, you've got no shot at a job at U.S. Soccer anymore. By the way, all 505 of you, make sure you like, subscribe, share with your grandma, invite your stepsister over for a gangbang. No, just kidding about that. Just kidding about that.
Unless she's down for it.
Unless she's down for it. Yeah, I guess so. Eric Ronaldo is as likely as Tab Ramos. At this point, that's kind of true. Tab burned a lot of bridges at U.S. Soccer. All right. The next one is Allegri. What is Allegri's first name? Can't remember.
2 L's?
It's 2 L's.
Sure, it's something very Italian.
It is.
Somebody's going to have it in the chat before I look it up.
It doesn't matter. There's no chance. It's severely unlikely. Would he be a B, B plus? Sure. Not sure I want to watch that shit. I really don't want to watch that shit. I really don't. I've watched too much Juventus and I don't want to watch any more of that. So, but it's super unlikely that he'd be a pick. Super. But he'd be in like the B plus A minus category as far as his reputation goes, right?
Gonna take him over Tuchel or vice versa?
Yeah, he kind of fits in that whole Tuchel thing. He's like there in the bottom A category, but I don't want to watch that shit.
Ooh, Kaiju has a great point, though. Allegri got Weston in shape.
That was Weston.
Yeah, because Allegri's like, dude, you ain't playing for me unless you lose 25 pounds.
No, he didn't.
It wasn't 25 pounds.
Weston did that on his own after all the fat shaming at Leeds.
Yeah, you got a personal chef. I mean, that's the way to go, I guess.
Right. But then by the end of the season, he put the weight back on.
You live off the Mediterranean, just eat that Mediterranean diet, man. It shouldn't be that difficult.
I mean, the last number of games was like the last 3 weeks of the season. He probably put on 5 to 8 pounds. When he was benched.
I was going to say, the weight always falls when he gets injured and then gets benched. And you start seeing the puffy cheeks coming back.
Yeah, he's pretty puffy right now. Hopefully he's out there not overdoing it.
Fat shaming works and not on me.
Hasn't worked on me, but nobody's fat shamed me lately. Okay. Derek wants us to lose pretty in 2026. No, I don't. I don't want us to lose pretty. But there are certain types of ball I don't like watching at all. And Allegri and Tuchel fit into that category. I don't mind playing counter ball and picking our spots to press and all that. I just don't want to play the way they play. Because to me, it's just a horrible watch. And you know what? If you could guarantee me Tuchel could get us out of the group at the World Cup and into like get us 2-3 more rounds past, I'd take him. And I said it tonight, I'll take him if that's what we can get. And I would say the same thing about Allegri if we can get him. But I don't think Allegri's really likely. I think Tuchel, again, kind of in the mid. He might say yes, but I'm sure he'd rather coach a club, honestly. All right, the next one is Southgate.
Say number of people in the same Peckerman.
Oh, Peckerman? How old is Peckerman now?
I would say 112 by that picture.
Yeah,
74.
well,
74.
Yeah. My only concern with him is he is getting up there.
Just got off the Venezuela pack rat, though, so.
Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know. Again, talking about U.S. soccer, and we were talking about Gallardo earlier. See how fast I learn?
Well done.
I just don't think that U.S. soccer is really considering South American coaches.
Yeah.
I just never hear them talk about that. I really don't. If I did, I think Jose Peckerman would be great because we could make Pecker jokes constantly here. But I don't think it's happening. I think that that's probably
Peckerman's really making this team hard.
It would be a B-plus pick, but I think it would be on the zero as far as likeliness that that's where we're heading. But call me surprised.
All right, so who'd you say next?
Gareth Southgate.
Oh,
Gareth.
I actually spelled Gareth properly.
So, for all the things that you can say nice about Gareth Southgate and taking England to 2 runner-ups in the Euros in a row, yes, you've got to say that's really good compared to what all the other coaches before him have done for England. Then I look at the way they play, and then I look at the roster, and I look at the potential of that team. And quite frankly, the way they played was cowardly versus Spain. And in fact, they're creeping through that Euros tournament for me, and the way they played, creeping through that tournament.
We're a bike away from getting removed.
A what?
They were a bike away from getting removed from Euros.
I was not impressed at all. We don't need Gareth Southgate.
No.
Just let England keep Gareth Southgate.
He has been there for fucking ever, man. Almost a decade, too.
He'll just be another B- higher. C+. He doesn't even get the best out of England that he could get out of England.
And again, if you listen to the English fans, they say the exact same thing we've been saying about Berhalter this entire time.
He is just basically Berhalter, but he's got an English accent.
They're the best of buds.
No on Southgate. The likeliness of him saying yes is small because I think he's going to stay on as England's manager.
Even if not, he'll get an offer in EPL.
So Paul Tenario, go suck it, brother. Quit pushing that, man.
Nobody want that.
Disgusting.
You put that evil on me.
And I know Southgate's got his connections to Betty Crocker. And so that scares me. It really does. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be a C+ higher, maybe a B-.
And for Betty to get him over, he'd have to end up leaving England or is this contract over?
No, he's going to resign. More than likely. I can't see the FA in England getting rid of him. Sure. I really don't. He'll have to decide to leave on his own. But for me, he's a C+, B-. He doesn't bring anything new. He doesn't really bring any new ideas because, he's a Berhalter clone. And he brings no inspiration. He's not going to be able to hold the players accountable because that's just not his style. And, he's kind of a player sucker-upper, too. Like he'll stick with guys.
He's like the Hoover of coaches.
He sticks with guys that shouldn't be on the team anymore for way too long, and he starts guys that are out of shape. And yeah, who are unfit. I don't think anybody watched that Harry Kane play in this World Cup felt that he was anywhere near 100%. Anywhere near 100%. He was not the same Harry Kane that we've seen in the past. He looked slow. He looked lethargic. He didn't press the way we usually see him press when he's played for Tottenham in the past or for Bayern. So no on Southgate. We don't need to bring this picture up. Hugo Perez would be a C+ hire, B- hire. He has no real honest to goodness, clean connections with the current U.S. soccer system. They don't value him.
He got recently brought up on a list.
Doesn't matter.
Much higher than Pellegrino, though.
He is an absolutely unlikely hire. Unlikely. He is in the unlikely to be asked category.
Curious on your take on this. Would you take Hugo Perez or Trundle? You had to take one.
Yeah, probably. Because Hugo Perez has international experience.
I asked you if you take one or the other, and you said, yeah.
No, I'm taking Hugo.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he's got international experience. He's got a great history with El Salvador of making something out of nothing. Because let's face it, El Salvador sucks. And he made them competitive against us.
Mm-hmm.
Against us.
They're relatively competitive in the octagonal regardless. Just it's El Salvador. I mean, they were never going to make it through anyways.
He just doesn't have the connections in the current U.S. soccer family. He's from a very older generation of U.S. soccer players, U.S. men's national team players. And a lot of those guys have been thrown out the window a long time ago. Renard.
Right, real quick, because this is something that I always keep combating whenever you're giving grades as well. How does unlikely equal a C+? And grades don't mean likelihood. So you're saying a C+ because he wouldn't necessarily be a good fit for the team?
Who are we talking about? Hugo Perez?
Hugo Perez, yeah.
No, I'd say he's a C+, B- as far as what is out there.
You're saying there are better options.
Yes, the unlikely thing has to do with U.S. soccer giving a shit about Hugo Perez because they don't, and they don't care about him, and they're not interested in him, and he's got no connections anymore, deep connections to the new regime in power. Now, if Ernie were still there, Hugo would still probably have some sort of connection. Because
would you take Hugo Perez or Greg Berhalter?
I'm taking Hugo Perez. I'm done with Greg Berhalter.
Just trying to see where Hugo fits on your list of American coaches.
Greg's a C. He's a C.
Enough in my books now.
He's average.
I don't want nobody. I don't want him anymore.
No, Greg's had his time. He's done.
Yeah.
All right. Renard. Herve. Art. Yeah, there we go. I knew how to.
I've spelled his name enough over the past couple days on Twitter and stuff that I know who he is. I know how to spell his name. I'll rephrase
Is that your Arnold Schwarzenegger?
It was a little, yeah. Get to the chopper.
I know who he is.
Down.
All right, Winkley says Greg's more like a D-. I mean, he's definitely a C and below. He's like average stale. He should never have gotten the job in the first place. We all know that. As far as Herve Renard goes, I would put him up there in the B+ to A- range because of his experience at AFCON with multiple teams. I think everybody's, you see people talking about, well, Saudi Arabia upset, a big ass Argentina, man. It's like, okay, it's kind of a one-off. They didn't even get out of the group.
Yeah, I forgot what show I was listening to, but they're like, it was Davies talking about it. He goes, yeah, they beat Argentina, but then they lost to Mexico. the same Mexico that we beat all the time. I'm like, well, it is Saudi Arabia. I mean, they can put forth a good game there, but consistency, I don't know.
Yeah, he's been bad as a club manager generally. I'd give him no better than a B+. I can't put him in the A category. I'm giving him a B+. Would I take him? Sure. If all the A's fail, I'll take a B+. No doubt. I think he would hold the players accountable. I don't think he would suck up to any of them. I think that he would be the commander-in-chief. I don't think there'd be any doubt about it. And I think he'd work out a system for our team to play that best fits the players we have. He's a smart guy. I guess he's really good looking according to all the gals out there.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm not sure how he looks in comparison to his 2018 photo of him. But if that's the case, yeah, we're selling out stadiums to a bunch of thirsty single middle-aged women.
Okay. Let's just get this one over. Steve Cherundolo.
Dolo.
As Tack says, he hasn't even been called or contacted, according to Tack. Although I wish he would text me these things when he finds them out.
I think. I thought Tack's point was that he wasn't hired. He had to have been reached. It had to have reached.
No. Read the tweet. He has not been contacted by U.S. Soccer.
I was too busy trying to find context for that tweet.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's just that interview that he had. They're asking of whether or not he was going to be the next U.S. men's national team. He goes, as of right now for this match, I am with LAFC.
So
it makes it sound like he's been reached out to. I don't know.
He has not been reached out to, according to Tact. And he has not been signed either, according to Tact. But I don't think anybody ever said he was signed. That's where my only confusion comes in. So if Dolo were a porn star, he was in a lot of minor films, German films, as an assistant porn star. He came over to the U.S., went into another minor league porn business, was not very good at it. Suddenly got a promotion to one of the biggest porn companies in Los Angeles, and has performed pretty well for a few years there, a couple years, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
He's not quite a star. He's not a standout. People don't think, oh, I really want to listen to Steve Cherundolo in interviews because he's really outgoing, insightful. He doesn't have the biggest dick, but he does do the job. It's just too soon in his career. Really, we need to see him be in bigger movies and have starring roles in bigger movies for longer times. And we'd like to maybe see him venture off into the European porn industry, like the big ones in Germany and Italy, maybe. So
they've got a bigger porn industry than here in the United States.
It's pretty big. German Goo Girls.
So like the Goo Girls only work for the Germans and surrounding countries.
Okay, it's a poor metaphor. But the point being, he's just getting started. He's just getting his career started in MLS. He needs to do this for 5, 6, 7, 8 more years, or go over to Europe and coach a team in the Bundesliga or something. He's just getting started. Now we're going to throw him into this craziness. Is he really ready for that? Even his best friends say he's not ready for that.
I think it's a little rush for that.
Jimmy Miola, yeah.
I will say the one thing I love about his career is that he spent obviously his entire career at one club, and that's something you don't see anymore. Where you see like the one club, maybe 2 club, but you spend like the bulk of your career at one club.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a thing of the past, and now everybody's just sort of like every couple of years you're moving to a new club, moving to a new club. Minus some stars here and there, but that's just a cool thing to see, I think, personally.
So let's give Steve some more time. Maybe he's an option for the World Cup after 2026. All right. It's too early when all his friends are saying it's too early. And then Tack comes out today and says, U.S. Soccer hasn't even reached out to this guy, which makes Doug McIntyre look like a complete asswipe because he made it seem like it was some sort of inside connection that he had with U.S. Soccer. And he pitched the whole bulletin points for Cherundolo. So we'll see where this ends up.
Would you be more impressed if he ends up winning MLS with Chicago?
Fuck this Chicago shit. I'm not talking about that rat-ass team with horrible management and horrible coaches. That team is a disaster. They shouldn't even be brought up on this.
Derek, every show it's going to come up. You can't silence the people, Derek.
Chicago. What a joke of a team.
Silence people.
They've been such of a joke of a team for so long. It's just despicable. All right, what else you got?
What else you got?
Oh, I got Wilfred Nancy.
Yeah.
Wilfred Nancy, if you want me to pronounce it French-like. Because apparently, what did I get wrong? Anyhow, doesn't matter. Gallardo. And I appreciate you fixing my mispronunciations. I really do. I'm okay with it. I really am. Okay, so again, the problem here is this guy just really became a head coach in 2021. Has he done some amazing sperm displaying, splashing, amazing things with the teams he's been at? Absolutely. It just seems like a little bit of a risk to pick a guy who's been coaching for 3 years, like coaching as the lead manager. So again, I'd put Nancy in the B category to somewhere in the B's, not high B's. But if we end up with Wilfred Nancy because we can't get any of the A's we talked about, and we can't even get any of the B pluses we talked about, I suppose I'll live with it as long as they can prove to me they tried all of the A's and B pluses first. And so I have not a bad word to say about what Wilfred Nancy's done with Columbus or even with Montreal. He's been great.
Yeah.
We got one more.
Ooh, we do. Nice.
Graham Potter.
Another Chelsea guy, huh?
Yeah. But before that, Brighton.
It's fair. That's fair.
Where he was great. Listen, I could live with this, and I think it would be like an A minus B plus. I think he's a B plus guy. Likeliness is kind of mid to high because he doesn't have a job. Does he want to come here and do that? I haven't heard a word about whether he wants to come here or not. So
again, it's a 2-year gig for a team that's guaranteed, World Cup, and you're going to get paid a couple mil. Yeah.
If he can make us look like Brighton did when he was at Brighton, I will definitely take that. Can you tell? Hold on. Jack Pineda says, I think Potter is on par with Southgate. I totally disagree with that. I do not think Southgate could do anything like what Potter did with Brighton. I do not believe that. I've seen Southgate take one of the best teams in the world and be fairly but average. Did he get them to the runner-up stage? Yes. I'm giving Southgate credit for doing that work. But he didn't do it pretty. And he didn't do it by, playing ball sack out. I mean, the way that they played against Spain was fucking cowardly. Cowardly. That's how that was. And we don't want a coward. And I don't think that Potter's a coward. And I think Potter does more with less. He did that at Brighton. He took a team that on paper was okay. And he was a major, he made that team a lot better than it looked on paper. But then again, other coaches at Brighton have done that too. So credit to them. Maybe we should be looking at them as well. Oh, shit, I forgot Derek Grant's chats too. No, it's no offense to Jack at all or anybody. Sometimes I get wound up. I love him. I love
that
him.
Motherfucker.
I didn't call him any names. It just kind of wound me up because to me, even Potter's a better manager than Southgate. I think Potter would do more with the English national team than Southgate can get out of that team. What was happening at Chelsea?
Even Graham is looking at Jack going, bitch, please.
I mean, seriously, the whole Chelsea thing was a total travesty. It's a total travesty, and it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
It really wasn't, because Poach confirmed the next season that this is just a wrong group of fucking players, man.
Yeah.
This team has no leadership. So Graham's got to do it all himself.
I think Bully's sitting there playing FIFA, buying players and going, okay, this guy's got like 95. I'm going to purchase him when I get a chance.
Yep. So I would take Graham as a B+. I think he fits in the B+ category. He's not an A, but, I'm going to take him above a couple MLS guys that are just getting their careers going in MLS and are impressive, but just getting started. And all the host of other people we mentioned right now.
Hopefully Bully brings all of his money to help out his friend Simon with the new Sporting Indianapolis FC soccer club team.
We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. But I think that's it. I don't have any other names.
I think they should pony up the cash to make an international worthy stadium so that Indianapolis can finally get international games. Just 50,000 seat stadium.
They will. Herb Simon will.
Go all in.
Did we miss anybody out there?
Super chats are all covered. Paying attention to the chat now. Nothing new.
Dominique Tedesco. Can we look him up and see what he's doing these days? Let's see what he's up to these days.
You said Dominique?
Dominique Tedesco. Let's look him up and see what he's up to right now. John Herdman, have no way in hell. Just can't do it, dude. I can't do it. Can't do it.
1 second, we get this shared again. Oh, I'm already sharing. Nice.
Did Herdman get a lot of the Canadian team, get them to finish first in qualifying? But the way they set up and played in the World Cup was pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
It's currently with Belgium right now. As of 2023.
I thought he was still hired. Yeah, he's not leaving Belgium to come here.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's still with Belgium.
I thought maybe because he put that up there, he got fired or something after the Euros.
But I know. I mean, I don't know.
Roberto Martinez is too much of a player. Suck up. Don't want him. Thierry Henry has done nothing as a coach in his career. Absolutely zero, nothing. Love him as a player. Loved him as a player.
Hey, he knows the player pool and he speaks English. So there you go.
Let's see what he does at the Olympics before we start talking about that. I like Roberto Martinez,
especially given the overage players that Henry managed to secure.
But Roberto Martinez wasted a golden generation in Belgium, and he just currently sucked up. He sucked Ronaldo's dick so hard that Ronaldo was like the king. He was like the coach of that team, not Roberto Martinez. So Roy Hodgson coached Switzerland in 1994. Is he still alive? As a Fulham fan,
Jesus Christ.
As a Fulham fan, I love me some Roy Hodgson. However, I think he's past his prime, guys. He's past his prime. I think he needs to go retire and enjoy his grandkids and his family and just, enjoy his last 10 years of life, which is probably what he's got left based on statistics. Thomas Christensen, I mean, I'd consider it. I think what he's done with Panama has been, he just beat us.
Yeah.
I'd put him in the B category. Put him in the B. As the guy you go after when all the A's said no and all the B pluses say no.
So I know that we didn't look him up, but Patrick Vieira was in the initial list for the running for. I mean, I know that he basically said he wasn't going to do the
he's got a
coaching
job
search or whatever.
He's
90% of the people we've been looking up have a job.
Some of them do, but some of them have jobs that are like sketchy or coming to an end. I don't think Patrick Vieira is coming to an end.
Like they're coaching in Bangkok, man. That job consists of working at Belgium.
Yeah. No, I mean, if Vieira was still free, although I heard he was not very happy with U.S. Soccer and their hiring process last time at all. David Moyes, that's a Brian McBride pick for obvious reasons. I don't think it's realistic. Tata Martino already shot his wad all over U.S. Soccer. I think they won't consider that.
We can't take Patrick. He's going to be coaching Gaga Salinas, so let's just let him be.
Arsene Wenger can barely walk. Mourinho has a job, just hired, not going anywhere, even if it's Turkey. Sir Alex Ferguson can barely not shit his pants anymore. He's that old. Seedorf?
Yeah, I'll just pull him up.
I mean, I don't think that that's realistic at all.
He hasn't coached in 2019.
Ages, yeah. And there's a reason nobody has picked him up.
Is he just enjoying retirement?
He probably doesn't need to work much.
No.
He's been unemployed for a long time. Franz Beckenbauer, he's dead.
I like how happily you said that. He's dead.
That's not happily.
He's Minecraft.
I'm a huge Franz Beckenbauer fan. He was one of my heroes as a child.
Fabian's off to the EPL.
Fabian Hertzler just got a job. Nope. Okay, I think we're running out of names here.
Colin said Seedorf works on TV.
Yeah, I think he's comfortable where he's at. Lucien Favre. I mean, where is he at these days? Lucien Favre.
Oh, I know.
Like, that's a name that's off my... Eden Terzic, nah, don't want to watch that. Doesn't have a good relationship with Reina. It's possible, but probably not. Probably not. More than likely not.
Right, I guess first.
Mancini, that seems like a distant choice, but I mean,
no longer. His last gig was in Nice.
Yeah, and did he do well?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I know, Derek.
That's a player off my radar, or a coach off my radar by this point. I knew him, followed him when he was at Dortmund, but not since. Did we talk about Pioli? I mean, maybe. I mean, he plays kind of our style, 4-3-3. Maybe. I don't think that's likely, though. I have not heard that name anywhere. I haven't heard it at all. So I think we just mentioned the most likely ones, or the ones that everybody has discussed and whose names have been out there, sort of out there in not only mainstream, but on the regular on Twitter with fans. Ted Lasso. Yeah, I'd take him if he really existed in real life. All right, guys, we already went. We already went over Pellegrino. No, we didn't go over Pellegrini. We went over Pellegrino.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. We are done. We are cooked.
Official.
It's been a 3-hour show. I mean, we knew it was going to be long, guys. We do appreciate it. All 500 of you here, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. We will be back Thursday. Hopefully there's some new news that we can talk about. Maybe there won't be, and the show will be an hour long, and half of it will be, fluff.
And sometimes that's okay, guys.
Sometimes we'll just come on here and talk about some guy that died on top of the Himalayan mountains, and and how we skied down the mountain and using him as a toboggan. It happens.
I had a whole animated video about that and never got made.
Yeah, Wuxie says 3 hours. We just got started. Oh, brother, we have to get some sleep. All right, we love you. Make sure that you subscribe, share it with your grandma.
Can I share this real quick? I looked them up right at the end.
Louis Van Gaal. I mean, I wouldn't complain. I just don't think that that's a real option. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe there's something I don't know. I just would be really surprised if we went for somebody that old at this point. I think the older you are, probably we're not going to hire you. I think they're looking for someone not young and inexperienced, but somebody who's kind of like in that middle ground who, Louis Van Gaal's getting up there. So, all right. We love you. Thanks for being here tonight. We will be back on Thursday, as I said. Until then, say hi to your stepsister. If you need any advice, give us a call at 1-800-BRETT-CORBETT. And we'll see you. Yeah, we'll see you soon. Good night.
That hurt.
And to me, it's nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating because